For the cheapest, fastest, most reliable MUT coins in the market, check out my coin sponsors at aoeah.com and use discount code MONEY for 3% off. Link in the description below. Welcome back, Money Team. This is Mad Money Shot. Sniff of the Mad Cheese has always got a full breakdown video for you guys today. Today, I'll be going over an entire offense. This is typically something that I only have on my Patreon or my Join Now community tab, or you'll see in my ebooks. But once a month, I try to give you guys on my YouTube a full offensive breakdown. So if you guys want to see this every month, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. Other than that, let me know what playbook you'd like to see next month. I have about 7 playbooks out, 7 ebooks out on my website. I typically try to draw from that, but I'll probably by next month when I put this next video out, I'll probably have a couple more. So let me know in the comment section either what ebooks you'd like me to work on next or what full offensive breakdown you would like me to do. Other than that, let's get right into the video. Next up, we have the wide trail. It's a good man coverage play. Basically, the drag or the A route will beat pretty much any man coverage. If it's man cover 1, a lot of times there's a yellow zone, so you might have to take, man cover 2, man 0, there won't be a yellow zone sitting in the middle of the field, so you'll have to take the drag in those scenarios. The route that the X route is running can get right past cover 4, especially if you smart route it. So I'm just going to do that, and then all you really have to do is lob the pass up once he gets past a certain point, and then just switch over and sprint. You can have a really big play against cover 4 quarters. It's also a big play against cover 2, but you have to motion over the tight end and put him on a streak. That's probably just a streak everybody. I would say drag. If it's cover 2, this would be the setup. Streak RB A and drag B. Let's put cover 2 out there. Go ahead, we'll just wait for this X route once again to get outside the cornerback. Bullet, pass it away, and the safety's in no position really to make a play. You can get a one-play touchdown out of that. I didn't really get it there, but you can see you can get a big play. Next up, we have the branch return. Against zones, putting the A route on a streak and the B route on an out route should give you a concept that works against just about any zone coverage. I'll block my running back. We have a good check down in what the tight end's doing, but you can see how that's going to really destroy cover 2. Then you put the RB route, or you do it against cover 3 sky as well, and you're going to have success to the exact same receiver because of how this spread works. So you should really have success against any zone with that setup, the A route, the B route, and the RB route. Next up, we got the RPO Alert Omaha. This is a good run play. It's a little weird they got to hold the Y button because that doesn't typically, that's not typically the case, but you get a good inside zone. If it's a cover 3 or a cover 4, the A route is going to have the most success, or at least be the smartest play. And if it's a man coverage, which I'll go ahead and I'll switch over to a man coverage, although cover 2 man not so much, cover 1 man a little bit more because that line's better. But if it's a man coverage, this X route here will have success. Now that's the thing, I tried to, against man coverage, you'll have more success to the tight end, to the X route, but that's really going to be best against man cover 1, maybe even man 0, anything where it's aligned a little bit better. Man cover 3, you can have success also because there's no real flat coverage under here, but it doesn't look like I'm getting a lot, but this can be a very hard to stop series of plays if it's run correctly, and it can be frustrating. RPOs can give people a lot of frustration. Next up, out of the bunch wide flex, we have the speed dig out. Against cover 4, all I got to do is put the A route on a drag, and the RB route will do a good job of just getting right past the cornerback for whatever reason. We just can't get an accurate throw as he just overthrew him there, but you can see he gets past that cornerback. So let's block the running back. Let's do that again. Hopefully we can get a little bit, like I said, it takes a little while for this guy to get across the field, but it's still crazy how he just runs right past that cornerback. That shouldn't be the case, and it's a 50-yard touchdown bomb. So very big play. Against cover 2, it's pretty much the same thing. As you can see right here, we have that stretched out look here. The safety, or the mid-read linebacker, did a pretty good job of coming across, but he's not going to be able to keep up with routes like that with receivers. You know what I mean? So it's like anytime he sees that, and then we're back in the cover 4 again, which I didn't mean to do, but we haven't completed it because it takes a long time for that guy to get across. That's probably the best thing, or the biggest thing. But ultimately, this is a very big play against both defenses. But you can have success against just about any defense as far as cover 3 goes, man coverage. It's all about the same. You can just have a very big play. You just need the time to throw. Like right here, we got a cover 3. The RB route will do the exact same thing. Because nothing's there pulling it across, and we just get a very big play. Next up, we have the verticals. This play here, I mean, I can just motion this guy out, and against cover 2, he's going to get open very easily. Against cover 2 and cover 3, although we get a little pressure there. Against cover 2 or cover 3, motioning this guy out will be the only real adjustment you need. And the B route here will be the play that gets open against cover 2. Against cover 3, it's going to be a seam beater, which I have to see the play here. Hold on one second. Cover 3, it's going to be the A route. So I forgot. But you can still motion this guy out here just to create as much separation as possible pre-snap. A lot of times that B route there can even get open if you throw it to him really quickly against cover 3 and cover 4, but I'm not going to suggest that. Next up we have the Z spot. So this play here, all I'm going to do is put the B route on a streak. And again, it's pretty much any zone coverage. These guys will have success. We'll go and we'll play sticks so that we can get a regular cover 4. And like I said, this RB route will get open outside of it. Any zone coverage is going to get outside of it. Cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Go ahead, we'll do that again. Although I don't think I did it properly. I don't even know. I just did. That's cover 4 match, but you can see it still worked. It's not really the goal. That's probably one of the ones that'll cover it the best. Let's go ahead and let's do Tampa 2. We'll do Tampa 3 next. Like I said, this is, you know, obviously Tampa 2 is going to be really easy. I said Tampa 3, didn't I? I meant cover 3. Let's do that again. Do that one more time. Like I said, cover 3 actually seems to be covered the best, but you can see it's still wide open. So that's going to be open against just about anything. Simple bunch concept. Next up, we have the bench dig curl. You basically have, I'm going to put the A route on a streak. I'm running this against random at the moment, I think. I'm not even really sure, but I think I picked random. No, I picked cover 4, whatever. So, yeah, we're running, I mean, we can run this against random. Basically, the bench switch side is really good. You have man beaters and zone beaters, which is, you know, basically both of these routes. Now, this is kind of like a man. It's a cover 4 quarters at the moment, but it's similar. So, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to switch to a man. But basically, there's a bunch of man-beating routes all over the field here. The B route, especially over the middle, will be a good man-beating route, especially if they do the curl flats with the safeties, which a lot of people like to do, again, in cover 2. But you have a lot of options here. I mean, if it's the zone, I could also put the Y route here on a flat just to pull zone coverage down for something like a cover 2, say. I could also put him on a streak. If it's a cover 2, I mean, this is another good way to run it. So basically you have a lot of man beaters with the X route, the A route, the B route. Those are all going to be pretty good, but then you can also have a lot of success against like a cover 2 zone, like right here. You can see we're just basically shooting straight for that gap. Play stick. So against cover 4, which is base cover 4, though the zones look messed up on there, you can just streak the Y route, and the X route will get outside of this cornerback here because the zones don't really cover too well. So that's something you can do against regular cover 4. Against man, just dragging the A route will basically make all these routes get open against man coverage. The X route is probably the most difficult, but it's also the most rewarding. As you can see, if you can make that happen, it's probably the biggest play out of all of them. But you need just a hair separation. Like I said, I don't have to really make any adjustments. And this X route here, it can be hit or miss. So like I said, you really need to get that throw on timing. But all these other routes beat man coverage very easily. Next up, out of the deuce close, we have the inside zone. Just the best run play of this formation. I mean, you have 2 tight ends set. You have a lot of inline blocking with the receivers. So this inside zone is going to be very consistent, and you should be able to get 10 to 15. You just saw right there, pretty much every time. And not right here, maybe because we have the safeties coming down. That's typically going to be a little bit of an issue. But you can see, I mean, there's still opportunity. That's obviously a scenario I would not run this play against. But anything else, any typical defense, you should have a lot of success. Next up, we got the mesh spot. Against cover 2, all you have to do is motion out this route here and put the Y route on a streak. And I also put the B route on a streak, but this is a really good play here against cover 2 because this X route here, once it gets past that cornerback, gets forgotten about pretty quick. Now the sideline is probably the biggest issue because I got to pass lead away from the safety just to make a safe play. If you run it from the hash mark to the open side of the field, you'll have more opportunities. But I also find that a lot of times these safeties do a pretty good job when it comes to covering the larger half. It's not like cover 3. They do. Oh, that's not even a cover 3. That was actually a cover 4. But you know what? Hey, even a cover 4 quarters looks like it had some problems against it. So, yeah, I mean, that's another way you can run this play. I just didn't mean to show that yet. but that was a cover 4/4. So just so you guys see, that's the exact same thing. This here basically just putting this guy on a streak. The exact same setup, and this X route here just has a lot of success getting past these cornerbacks. Same type of pass, bullet, pass lead outside. It's a one-play touchdown against cover 4/4. Now back to cover 2, because it's a one-play touchdown against cover 2 also. So let's go and let's do that one more time. And I forgot to put that guy on a drag, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. So you can see we can have success. I don't know what happened there, why he ran out of bounds. That was nonsense. I didn't really set the play up correctly anyway. So I streaked the wrong guy. The B route's the guy's just streak. You can put the running back on a block. He's not really doing anything anyway. And then once again, we have cover 4/4 again, because I keep forgetting to put it in cover 2. But hey, at least you can see it's consistent. You're consistently getting behind that cover 4/4 corner. So let's try that one more time. Let's get the Tampa 2 out there. And like I said, let's streak all the right players. And let's get a one-play touchdown so we can move on. So like I said, there we go. That should give me enough catch and run space, but I went out of bounds again. But you can see how there's an opportunity, if you have a little bit more speed, for this to be a one-play touchdown against cover 2. Against cover 3, we're going to move the ball back. Against cover 3, I'm just going to put the Y route on a streak. Motion this guy out. I'm going to make sure I put it on cover 3 because I keep forgetting to do that. But here we go. Then I'm going to put the B route on a streak or a fade. It really doesn't matter. And that's going to be the play. All I'm really going to do is wait for him to get past that cornerback. And you can see he just runs right over the top of that cornerback for an easy one-play touchdown against cover 3. So we're beating cover 3, we're beating cover 4/4, cover 2, all one-play touchdowns. Next up, we got the PA deep cross. Go random on defense. This is another play. I'm just going to put the, I really have my choice. I can put the X route here on a, I didn't mean to flip it there by accident, but yeah, I can put the X route here on a streak and then the A route on a drag, and that's pretty much going to be the look. And then you can see we're pretty much just going high to low between, the 3 levels, including the other tight end, which comes out in the flat. Now, I should probably put this guy back on the defensive line. There we go. So like I said, this is pretty much the look here. You have 3 levels of passing. The Y route here might be the first one out of the flat, and then typically that drag can become a blocker. But I don't really have a great second tight end in Dwelly, so I don't expect to make too many plays there. But the the X route's the only one that I really don't have any plans for, as far as anything more than just to pull, pull space, pull the zones back. And then this B route here obviously is really good against man and zone. So you're really just going front to back. The A route and the B route are the only man beaters, where the Y route, the A route, the B route are all zone beaters based off of the depths of the zones. Next up, we have the RPO read stick. This play here, basically, if it's a cover 3, the RB route's a really good play. If he gets out in the flat, you can see right here, that's just something you could steal all game. Cover 3, cover 4, that's going to be something you can have success with. Ultimately, though, the best play is just going to be handing it off to the A route, which they didn't hold the A button. You have to hold the A button, which I forgot to do. But you can also run with the quarterback. So there's 4 options. I just don't find the B route is a very good option. The only thing that the B route would be a good option against would probably be like a man coverage. And even then, you probably just have to, it's just probably not worth it. It's a low throw. You have to throw it out quick. So ultimately, it's either the flat, which is only going to be good in cover 3 and cover 4 because there's no underneath coverage, or handing the ball off, which you can see right there, the defensive tackle kind of warped out of nowhere. Let's do that again. As you can see, like I said, we can have success. It's basically just an inside zone. So you have an inside zone with a throwing option to the flat. Next up, we got the middle, high, low. Against cover 2 and cover 3, you can motion this guy in, put him on a streak. Go ahead and we'll pick Tampa 2. And you're going to see that the B route can really have a lot of success outside and be a very big play. It can typically be gone. Next up, we got the quarterback draw. If your opponent spreads their defense to try to match these wide running formations, you can basically just hit them with this draw, and it's a pretty good play. You need a mobile quarterback, and there's also a chance of fumbling. So when I run this, a lot of times I will slide, but ultimately this is one of the better run plays, but a lot of people won't necessarily expect. So like I said, fumbles happen. I typically try to slide so that I can avoid that. I even tried to slide there and it didn't work out. So ultimately, be aware of that. But anytime there's a really spread defense with not a lot of linebackers, you can still run this play with success. Next up, we have the shock wide receiver option. It's a good play against cover 2. Just streak the A route, and the RB route will get outside. Even the tight end a lot of times will get open, but you'll have a very big play to the sideline against cover 2. Against cover 2 man, you can have success also As you can see, this guy will still, if he beats that press, he can still get outside of that and make a big play. Didn't hang on to it though. It's one of my worst receivers on the team. It also helps in that scenario if you're going against cover 2 man to put the X route here, or sorry, the B route here in a smoke, so that it doesn't get in the way of the throw. You can throw it a little bit early. Once again, like receiver keeps dropping it. A good receiver will hold on to that ball. Next up, we have the strong curl. Run this against random defenses. All I'm going to do is put the X route in a streak, motion him in. Whenever it lets me put the A route in a drag, you can put the RB route and the B route on any number of checkdowns you want. They're not really critical to the play. But this Y route here, I don't know what defense that was, but it doesn't really matter. Man or zone, it typically has that effect. Not against man as much. The drag would typically be the man read. We'll go ahead and we'll go with cover 3. Just give myself something that we can see for what the actual zone is instead of guessing after the fact. But yeah, you can see once again, same thing, wide open in the outside because of that drag. Cover 2 obviously will have that effect. Let's go and let's do that one time. It's going to be the same thing though. The Y route's going to get open. Although he's getting open a lot easier. He's rounding that route off pretty poorly and it's still wide open. So any man or zone that's going to be successful. Any zone that's going to be successful. Any man that's going to be the drag. Favorite run by far is definitely the fullback inside, which is another reason why you're going to want to make sure that you have an actual running back there, because most fullbacks aren't good enough to run that play. So like I said, one of the things I like about this as far as the run plays go is you have the option to go in either direction. Most plays you just have the fullback here, who's typically a running back, doing an inside zone. That's basically what this is. This is an inside zone with a blocker, which if you really wanted to, you could put that, if you run this play a lot, you could put your fullback at the spot that number 31's at there and then give yourself even better blocking. But ultimately, this is definitely the best run play. This look here, though, doesn't necessarily look like the best look, but you can see I still have success, even if it's not going to be an explosive touchdown run, which I'm hoping to get. Another really good man play out of this is the fullback trail. That's, you're really, once again, you're really focusing on one particular route, but it's another good option. So I'll go to pick cover 2 man one more time here, wherever that's at. But the fullback, the way that he comes back inside, number one, the drag's a good play, but the way that the fullback comes back across typically is going to get open, and users will not be expecting it. They will be gone by the time that play comes in. That's the point of it being a trail play, is you have all these, all these crossing routes already pulling the coverage away. Although there, I just kind of threw it to the fullback without even thinking. Realistically, the drag was wide open there. That's why they call it a trail, because the drag is supposed to clear the way, and then obviously if it doesn't, you got that fullback coming across as well. Now, I find the timing is a little bit off this year. I just noticed that. So if you want to motion this guy to the line, you'll probably have more success as far as the timing, because he'll get out further and then he'll cut across the running back's face, and it'll be, or the linebacker's face, whoever's in coverage, and it'll be an even better play. So another really good man option. You have your drag and you have your running back. Those two things will probably be the best. I mean, even the A route probably has success. I'm not really looking its way, but you can see, I mean, they're all beating man, and you'll also have success against zone. Those two routes, the drag and the in route, the 10-yard in, will also have success against, obviously against some regular zones. You just have to basically watch the high-low. The halfback slip screen. This play here, I like plays like this, where I don't like to run screenplays where there isn't a good backup option. This play here has an excellent backup option, which means I'm not dependent on the screenplay working out. That flat right there is a really good play. It's going to have a lot of success. So I typically, I want the wide, play to work, but you can see it's not guaranteed. A lot of times the blockers just mess up. Or, there that was pretty good. I just didn't do a great job. But ultimately, this is one of the better plays that you can mix in. Like if you don't, like right there, they just got all messed up. So it's something where you want to try to pre-diagnose it. If you're looking at the only thing that really should cover the table route on the right side, the RB route, is a man coverage. So as long as it's not a man coverage, you just should know that should be there all game, and then you can just steal that all game. And it's also a really good misdirection for your opponent. Once again, you can play this two running back system to the point where your opponent's never really going to be able to get a beat on it. They're never really going to be able to guess which way you're going. And you can see, like I said right here, they're just going to be out of place all the time. That's the thing about this formation I like so much. There's really a lot of mind games you could play. Was the halfback wheel. So this first play, this is a really good play. You can run this against just about anything. You can see this Y route's going to get open in the flat. The flats are always going to be there. There's a lot of really good dink and dunk checkdowns. Even the B route, which is crossing over. Like, this is a really good play. There's not a lot of adjustments needed if you're just going to run this play as is. It's a good dink and dunk play, just like the first video I put out. But if you put the B route on a streak, there's a couple things you can do to make this a very successful one-play touchdown against a lot of defenses. Against cover 2, just streak that B route, and I find, number one, the RB route is going to be a really good option, again, because it's going to pull that cornerback back. But ultimately, the real plan here is the big play, which is going to be the A route. This is a simple cover 2 concept. You can do this out of a lot of different things, and then you can see how I'm just basically dotting up that coverage over there. So lots of things you can do there. You can motion the running back out as well. Sometimes I do that if I'm trying to pull that cornerback down for the B route. So this will actually, it's good, something that'll confuse your opponent a little bit, but you can see, I mean, it just helps to create separation. So it's something that you can do. I would make a habit of motioning out this receiver, who I put in George Kittle because the Niners don't have a good third receiver, but I would get in the habit of motioning him out because it's going to be important when it comes to some of the cover 3 one-play touchdowns. Let's go and let's move on to the cover 3 one-play touchdown. Against cover 3, this is a good play just to work these flats. I mean, that's pretty much going to be your best option against cover 3. You can see he's, the coverage just plays back to the point where he's 10 yards down the field before there's even anybody in the area. So just anytime somebody's playing cover 3, cover 4, just work the flats. So against cover 3, I just want to make sure that I run this from a hash mark to the open side of the field. That's going to be the most important thing. Because you need to really, create a lot of space. So I'm going to run this from the left hash mark to the open side of the field on the right. Motion out, this running back here just to motion that safety across. That just brings the safety over into a little bit of a better area. Then I'm going to basically just streak the B route and streak the X route. That's all I really have to do. And then this is going to be the play. And then you're going to see that I can pretty much just bomb this up right between a giant cover 3 seam. That's how you beat cover 3. You have to essentially create a much wider field. And this is going to be consistent. If I were to start this play from the center of the field or any other area, it's really not going to work. You have to start from a hash mark, whether it's going to be the left or the right. You can start from the right hash mark and just make sure you run the play to the left side. It doesn't really matter. But ultimately, the way that Madden is right now, before they patch it, this is how you create separation of the cover 3 seam. Now I have, the streak here is just basically meant to pull this safety to the left as much as possible. Just leave him in that area because that cornerback has to react. You see the cornerback slows down. He's covering him, then he has to react to the underneath routes, and that's when the safety up top takes over. I'm watching for that safety to do that because that's when I throw the ball, because he's got his back turned. He won't be able to flip his hips in time to make a play on the other receiver going right up the middle. And then you can see if we go back to me here, I'm basically just waiting for that guy to turn so that I can basically load up. And like I said, the reaction time, if you have like an elite speed safety out here, maybe he makes a play, although honestly I think Buda Baker, is that Buda Baker? Yeah, he's the second best safety in the game. So if he can't make a play on it, especially since I only have I don't even think Brandon Ayuk is a 80 overall. So if he can't make a play on this ball in the air, most safeties won't be able to. You can see it just comes right up the middle. So we'll do that again. The only thing about this is, I'm going against J.J. Watt. I'm going to double team J.J. Watt. So if you don't know how to do that, that's not something you need to know for this video. But if you're going against a superstar like this, you're definitely going to have to do that. So here we go once again. Like I said, I'm getting hit. And you can see it's still a big play, but there's a huge seam to be had. We're going to do that one more time. Like I said, I got to make sure that I double team JJ. And I'm sliding my protection, all that. So I got the fullback over there. I got everybody trying to take up some J.J. Watt room. And then, like I said, you can see it's really easy. It's not a huge separation, but it's enough that you can score easy one-play touchdowns against cover 3. Now, this play will beat both cover 4s. There's two different types of cover 4s. There's cover 4 cores, which is like a cover 4 matching principle, and then there's cover 4 drop. This will beat both, but it'll do it in different ways. So we'll start off with cover 4 drop. So what I'm going to do is like I said, max pro, motion this guy out, put this A on a drag, put this B route on a smoke, and that's all she wrote. So you're basically just going to be buying time. Hopefully J.J. Watt didn't double team him, so hopefully he can handle it. And then you can see once this guy gets inside that first safety, even though there's a superstar safety back there, he's not going to make that play. Now I didn't really time that very well, but that's okay. The result is the same, and I don't really have like the fastest receivers or nothing either. So like I said, you're basically just watching this guy. Once he gets inside of this safety, if I go back to the other safety, I mean, it's just a bullet and pass lead away from the free safety. So if you go back to this other safety, these guys here, because of these routes are so short, they typically just don't react. They just stay down. The way that the Madden defenses typically handle these type of plays is they split the field in half when it comes to the AI. So you can see these guys here are they just stay depressed because that's their responsibility. It's the right half of the field. And then by the time this guy crosses into the right half, you can see that's when this guy starts to react. The second he gets closer, he reacts, but it's too late because the depths are just too different. Now, I mean, I can only imagine if I had a more explosive or a speedier receiver than this guy. You can see there's nothing but space. So it's really all about placement at that point. Bullet, pass leading away. The ball, for me, is already in the air. So like I said, the second I see that guy cross inside that safety, you can see I'm already loading up, and boom, we're hitting a one-play touchdown. A very easy one-play touchdown against any cover 4. I do find it helps to roll in the direction of the throw, which you typically, you know, you might not always be able to do, but it definitely helps because the defenders stay home a little bit better when they feel you're in the area. So just remember that. I didn't get the roll into the throw there, but I got the step up into the pocket and shorten the throw, which is going to be important when it comes to completing this pass. As you can see, just stepping up or just being, you know, in danger, it makes the safeties just play it a little bit differently. That's the best way I can describe it. The next play is going to be the PAF slide. This is another play where it's all about the running backs once again, although realistically I'm reading RB back. As you can see, we have like a level setup here. We have the RB route and the B route and the A route are all going in one direction. I'm just going to basically go from front to back and take which one I think looks like it's going to be open, because a lot of times it's going to be dependent on who the user covers anyway. So you really have to just kind of watch the user or watch the depth of the drops and see which one's open. A lot of times I'll also put this X route on a streak. You can motion him out a little bit because I really want to draw attention away as much as possible. So sometimes I'll do that, but it's really, this play here is really all about this RB route. I find this is one of the best catch and run options in the game, where you just can steal 10 yards over and over and over or more. Once again, I still have I should have switched out my running backs so that I could have the best running back where I want them. But at the end of the day, you know, I'll probably just get diminished returns based off of that. Now, if it's a man coverage, you could see I also have, that's my man route. Anytime I see a man coverage, I'll go to the replay because I was talking a little bit fast. The table route or the underneath routes here will not beat man coverage. You can see right here, he's pretty much all over that. That's a pick 6 waiting to happen. This route above him is typically a really good man beater, although he did a pretty good job. Like I expected a little bit better separation, but you can see that's your man beater right there. So anytime you see a man coverage, you're going to immediately want to switch your read over. It's pretty good coverage though. Like I said, that's probably, I don't even know who that is, but he's doing a pretty good job. So we backed out real quick. We set our running backs up how we want them because like I said, this is really all about the catch and run after the fact. And you can see, like, if I have an elite speed guy, I'm going to be getting much better results. 15, 20 yards should be the minimum when you set your depths or set your running backs depth chart to what you want it to be. So like I said right here, anytime I have that, I typically want to wait till it gets out a little bit further. If you can see on the previous play, he didn't really follow much further. Sometimes I'll get it out a little bit early, but like I said, I still think it's best to motion this guy out a little bit. Just try to get that cornerback as far away from the line as possible. Here we have that man coverage once again. Like I said, I'll immediately switch over to that B route. He'll always be there against man. The running backs will always be the options against zone. And don't forget about that A route. I haven't really been looking that way because like I said, I'm just comfortable, you know, just basically checking it down, catching and running. But that A route gets open against most things. As long as, like I said, the depth, the user is really the most important distinction. As you can see right here, like I said, if I low ball that, I'm low throwing it, hitting the left trigger or the L2 button if you're on PlayStation to get that low throw. In that scenario, I don't think motioning the receiver route's a really good idea. But you can see, I mean, we're having a lot of success with that route too. Audibles. I typically go, one of my favorite, and the power O is already in the audible. A little bit of a different look. We have a cover 3 safety coming down in the box there. I'm going to switch it over and go the other way. Go with the power O. That's the point of this formation when it comes to the run plays. You can really go either way. The bread and butter, in my opinion, is no doubt the halfback inside, going in that direction. But there will be a lot of times where, you know, you see a better opportunity just to take this sweep wide, and you can see how we're just having nothing but success over here. So like I said, this is one of my favorite formations to run out of. Next up, we have the Niner angle. This play really is all about the man beaters. The B route, the Y route, and the X route. Those are probably the 3 best routes. The B route's really just a zig route. You could always switch that zig route and make him go outside if you want to, but he doesn's really get in the way as far as like a user concerned. If I were to make any adjustment, if it's a man coverage, I'd probably put the A route on a streak just to pull the safety back, because the Y route can be a very big play once he gets down the field. And based off of the fact that you know, the yellow safety drops in the way, you really can't throw to him early anyway. A lot of times against cover 1, that yellow safety will be there, well, unless you want a low throw. You know, there's ways that you can get that open, but ultimately, again, against certain man coverages, it might be best to hold the ball late and throw it late. As you can see right here, I mean, he basically is just a really big play. I might be able to get a one-play touchdown here because I have Raheem Mostert, but you can see man coverage is going to be a very big play. And then the last route would be the X route, which is probably the most difficult. It's definitely a timing throw. I find that if I low throw it, it might be one of the better ways to go. And it's not something you're going to get all the time. But you definitely have to wait for him to get to the sideline and then low throw to have your best chance for success. But for me, the reads would go B first or Y first would be the two best options. And then if you do run to a zone, the A and the RB route are a good combination for any zone coverage. You just have to basically watch which way the coverage goes. Let's go and let's do that. We'll just switch it to a cover 2 just to give myself something. And you can see you can basically just play the high versus low. You know, that's just if you make a poor read. If you end up in a zone you weren't expecting, you can always just take that as a check down. Next up, we got the PAY cross. This play here is going to be a play that you can run against just about any defense, but it's going to be best against cover 3s and cover 4s because these underneath routes here are just good for catch and runs with any off coverage. All the crossing routes will also be good against cover 4 match, which basically the crossing principles typically give you know, the AI issues. So you can see how you can have a lot of success against those type of defenses, against man coverages. The tight end should be a really good route. The in route should be a really good route. Next up, we have the shovel option. Shovel option is a good play if you have a mobile quarterback. You flip it out to the RB route, which will typically be the bigger play, although Bobby Wagner did a pretty good job there. This play here is going to be one of the better running plays in this formation. You have the option to pitch it either left or right, which you see is really, you know, it's going to give you a lot of opportunities for big plays in multiple ways. Let's go to the replay. To pitch it to the left, you just hit the LB bumper, but you can see right here, if I have a lane on the left side, like right there, we have a defender who's cheating to the right side, so obviously flipping him would be a mistake. But on the left side, we really didn't have anybody; they just followed the quarterback, and that was what gave me the opportunity to basically flip it around right up the middle. Now, to me, the best flip is pretty much always going to be to look for the outside flip. Next up, we have the Y curl. This is specifically a man coverage play, so any man coverage is going to have most success. This play, all I really want to do is hit this X route. Once the X route gets outside the quarterback, just still get a bullet pass to the sideline, and it's a very easy play against pretty much any man. I'll go ahead and I'll switch to cover 2. That was cover 1. Cover 2 is a little bit different because the cornerback does start outside, but you can still have success because the cornerback typically has to flip his hips and turns back to the receiver. So pretty much any man coverage, including maybe man cover 0, which is what we're in now. Let's just make sure. Let me pull this up. Yeah, so when a man covers 0, it's going to be the same effect. Pretty much any man coverage. The X route is going to get open. So this is one of your best man beaters in the formation. So another really good man play is the slot curl. This is something that really only has success against man cover 1. I find that against man cover 2, it really seems to struggle. But basically, you're just waiting for this guy to get outside of the cornerback, and then you bullet, pass lead away, and you can steal that pretty much all game. If you throw it too early, it's going to be a problem. If you throw it too late, it's going to be a problem. But if you throw it on timing, you can have success with that over and over and over. It's a very repetitive and easy play to run. You also want to try to run it from the open side of the field because you want to have as much room as possible to the sideline. That's kind of what I meant by if you throw it too late. If you throw it too late, you can see this cornerback here, he basically catches back up and he hems you into the sideline because the receiver has to slow down. If you throw it too early, you're going to have the exact same effect where the cornerback's, you know, going to either jump in front of it or, you know, whatever. But if you throw this route in timing, it's in the programming, it's going to beat it. You can see right there, I mean, I don't know why he's not catching the ball, but you can see he had the same outside separation. We'll do it one more time just to show. It's hard once you start messing it up, then you start messing it up. But you can see that, you know, it's easy. Easy pitch and catch. Next up, we got the wide receiver corner. Yeah, this year, typically, to move that safety over, I'll put the running back on a streak, motion him out, and then a lot of times this A route here will just have a lot of separation based off of that corner route, and you can see how there's just a lot of separation right up the seam. Sometimes, I mean, if I had a fast receiver, that's like probably the worst receiver on a team. It really doesn't have a ton of great receivers, but you can see it still has a lot of success. So this cornerback here is basically just reacting to this receiver. I don't know why he does that because, man, honestly, it looks like he's pretty covered. But you're always going to get this look where this seam. A lot of times, if you have a faster receiver who'll get past this cornerback, but like I said, I only have like a 91 speed receiver, so that's not really too great. But still, like I said, huge play against cover 3. Now, you also have to remember, too, it's best to run this from a hash mark to the open side of the field for the most success for this play. One of the best ones that actually has a man beater and a cover 3 play in one is the Z spot. Now, we'll go and we'll pick that. Like I said, we'll start off with cover 3 because it's very similar to the first cover 3 play that I showed. Pretty much a similar setup. Go and we'll motion this across here. We got to run it from the sideline. So, like I said, same thing. Pretty much have to do the exact same thing. I like the motion. I'm running running backs, put them on a streak, but it's pretty much going to be the same deal. I got to remember to put my man JJ on a double because he will be a problem if I don't, and I will block that fullback, slide protection, all that stuff. We got to make sure that we keep that guy in check. But this is pretty much going to be the play, and then the B route is going to have success once again, right up the seam, very big lane, and I probably would have been going from anywhere on the field because you can see how much separation that creates. Now, we'll go to the replay. It's a very similar concept to what I just showed, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but you can see how, you know, these two routes over here will keep that safety busy and more to the side. I think this is actually probably a better cover 3 one play touchdown than the halfback wheel. The halfback wheel just has a lot of different looks that you can use against a lot of different defenses. This one here, you got a very good specific cover 3 one play touchdown that's probably better than the first play, and also has a very good specific cover 1 one play touchdown, which we'll back out and show. We haven't really touched on any man coverages yet. I don't really find man coverages are great, but this is a great cover 1 one play touchdown. So we're going to pick cover 1 robber. This play here, I'm actually going to move back further because to beat man, you typically want to float the ball. To beat zone, you typically want to bullet it. So on this particular play, I'm going to move back because I have a feeling that I'm going to be chucking this ball up as long as possible. The X route here is pretty much the guy. You can see he doesn't get a ton of separation, maybe because I don't have a great receiver, but you can see he gets past the man coverage, which is the important part. We'll go to the replay. I did make one quick adjustment. I did smart route this guy. You could also motion him out, which I've been doing a lot, but ultimately you can see how from the inside position, he just gets a very good inside release. And then if I had a better speed advantage, I'm not really sure who he's facing. Is that Dark Plays Denard? I don't even know if he's still in the league, but you can see he gets behind, which is all that really matters. And then I had to safe catch it because I want to make sure that I caught it. But if you have a real receiver, a real advantage out here, he's just going to be absolutely gone. I didn't mention too, it's also best to put the B route on a streak, but that's pretty much the look. I mean, this left side, man beater, right side, cover 3 beater, although obviously it's a slightly different setup. Like I said, I like to smart route this guy. I find that really makes the most difference, but you don't necessarily have to. And then you can see once again, he's just getting right at that seam there. Doesn't beat him. So like I said, it's a little 50-50. You want to make sure that you actually see he gets past the cornerback before you make that throw, but you know, that's pretty much all there is to it. So I guess right there, that's a good release. You can see there he just completely smoked them, and then I get a bad throw, but it was gone. So it's, you know what I mean? That's the bottom line. Let's take a look at the replay on that one, since that one looked a lot better. But you can see the difference as far as the animation. Like that's the release you want. If you see him behind him, lob it up. I lobbed it up. I don't know if there was pressure or what, or Jimmy G just is terrible, but you can see that he should have been a home run. It should have been an easy one play touchdown. Get a better quarterback. That's probably the best way to make this a completion. Next up, we have the bench. When it comes to the bench, these routes will be, man coverages won't have a lot of success against bench. So basically the Y route or the X route will have a lot of success. You can get more success if you try to stack to one side rather than running both sides. Like if I motion over Kittle or Ayuk here and just put them on a streak, that typically will give me even more success when it comes to these concepts. Although I'm going to cover 4 now, which I didn't mean to do, so we'll just throw that ball away. But we've got to go back to cover 2. I mean, really any man coverage, but cover 2 especially because you have the safeties on each side and you want to be able to pull those guys back. I mean, I find that doing it with a zig is even better since I'm trying to isolate man coverages. You can see the zig route got really wide open, but I'm going for the bigger plays. You can see right there, you did get a little bit of separation. Like I said, it's not the best man concept, but the same setup through any zone coverage will be successful. So we're going to do that with a zone. Typically against zone, I like to flat the X route instead of having him in that out route because that'll pull that cornerback down even quicker. And you can see here, I mean, he's getting a lot of pressure or a lot of press off of that. I don't know if it was a linebacker or what, but you can see it's still a very big play regardless. Go to cover 3, do the same setup. Cover 3, you can leave that X or you can flat them. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're both going to work and have success. You see the flat pulls it down a lot quicker though. And like I said, that pretty much any zone, these corner routes really have a lot of success against zone. Next up, we have the drive corner. It's another really good play against cover 4 quarters. As you can see, it kind of just glitches out the safety. It's going to have a lot of success against any man similar style of play. I find it's best to motion. I'll block the running back. The running back would be good against cover 3 and cover 4 because it's a flat beating route. But against man coverages like man cover 2, motion over the B route, put them on a streak. And the Y route here can have a lot of success over the top of that, which is a play. I put this out, multiple years in a row. It's a really explosive play against man coverages and against cover 4. Against man cover 2, just streak the X route. I'm sorry, not man cover 2, zone cover 2, whatever. Streak the X route, same result, another one play touchdown. So against man cover 1, man cover 2, cover 2 zone, and cover 4 quarters is a one play touchdown to the same route. Like I said, I can show off some of these other routes. These drags are pretty good. The X route's pretty good. You see right here. I mean, that's a tough one, against cover 2 man because they typically cover outside. They don't like to give you outside release when it comes to cover 2 man. Against cover 1, it's a little bit of a different story. Cover 1 is the one coverage that I feel like this Y route. It covers this Y route pretty good, but you still have, if you have a speed advantage, you can still make that happen. But I don't have a ton of speed with Samuel. Except we have the flanker drive. It's a good play against any man coverage. Your 2 routes on the left side should both get open, and then the B route is also a very, very glitchy, any man coverage, coverage beater. So we're going to do cover. That was cover 2. This will be cover 1. I said the B route once again gets wide open. I mean, the cover. I don't even know where where the cornerback was. That's how far out of the play he was there. You could probably benefit from motioning because the way that these routes work, they seem to cross up pretty quickly. So you can probably benefit from motioning this guy over here. Like I said, once again, this B route here is that's really the caveat or the best play to run when it comes to this, or the best route to use, I should say, when it comes to man. Next up, we have the PA cross against cover 2. If you just streak everybody, the B route here will have success in the cover 2 gap. And if you have a lot of catch and run space, which I didn't have, you can get an easy one play touchdown there. Against man coverage, the X route is a good route. Once again, he'll get outside. It takes a little while, but you can see he gets outside and you have another big play. So those are your right. The B route, cover 2. The X route, cover 1. Even the Y route's a good man beater, but I'm not really going to spend too much time on that. It's just a good check down. I'm not going to change that too much. Cover 3X, I got to move the ball over for cover 3. I forgot to mention against cover 4 quarters, if you motion this guy out, he will have success. You just isolate him with a cover 4 corner. This is cover 4 match, not cover 4. Look at it right there. He's getting triple teamed, and he still gets open. My worst receiver is getting triple teamed and gets open against cover 4 quarters. Both routes can have success, really. I'll do the same thing with the B route. Like I said, even with that short field, you'll see he isolates it and still gets it open. So just as long as you have a decent receiver, that's why I ran the short side there. So against cover 3, got to remember to put it in cover 3. Go ahead and do that one more time. Like I said, that wire out there, once that guy spreads, once that cornerback spreads, you can beat that right at the seam. A little bit more speed would be nice, but that's as good as I have it. Do that with the other side too. But we'll do that again. Exact same setup, just a slightly different look, and the same result. As you can see, one play touchdown to both sides at the cover 3 seam. Against cover 4 drop, we'll just play sticks. Switch to the other side because the X route's the route. Block my running back. And we're going to have that same result with the same route against cover 4. So really any zone coverage, that's going to have success. We'll do that against cover 3 because when I say any zone, I really didn't check cover 3. So I'll do that one more time. I said, I mean, obviously, these cover 3 doesn't cover anything because the one play touchdowns there and the shorter routes there, so that covers nothing. Next up, we have the slot curl. All we're going to do here is we're really not doing any adjustments other than put the running back on a pass block, and any zone coverage really will have success. Especially like here, man or cover 2 zone. This X route's going to get open outside of it. I typically should have a pretty easy catch and run, or if not more. Against cover 3, same thing. And we'll have the same results when it comes to this X route here, as it just gets wide open outside. These outside corners don't do a very good job covering. Against cover 3, you could also motion out this receiver here and just put everybody on streaks. Block that running back one more time. And the Y route will have a one-play touchdown right up the top. As you can see right here, he just gets over the cornerback on the left side. Then we'll do that again. Got to put on cover 3. So that motion's really just to pull that safety across. You can see he's really out of position now. And then this Y route gets right past everything. Although you see right there, he gets sacked. So then we'll do that again. Forgot to block my running back. But other than that, we're good to go. And now Y route just gets right over the top of that cornerback, which is not a good look. Next up, we have the slot post. It's a really good cover 3 play. Just streak your slot receivers, motion out the X route. And that Y route is going to be a very big play because it just creates a huge amount of space. So, you know, it's a big seam play. It's not always going to be a one-play touchdown. A little bit more speed would be helpful. But ultimately, this is a very big play against, you know, pretty much against any covered 3, just as long as you do this setup and just streak everybody. Running back's a good check down. Next up, we have the jet touch pass. This is a good run play to mix in. It's going to work best against like cover 3s and cover 4s and stuff like that, where it's off coverage. But ultimately, this is just, you know, something that I would say you can. I think you can also run against man. I mean, typically, you know, you'll have a blocking advantage the most often in cover 3 and cover 4 zone. And like I said, you just don't have anybody playing down in the box, so that's the best time to run it. But you can really run this against most things other than cover 2. Next up, out of the tight way off, we have the PA go slot cross. Against cover 4 quarters, all you have to do is put the B route on a slant. You're going to have an easy one-play touchdown to the Y route. He gets across the field pretty quick. You just basically need to wait till he gets inside the safety. He might need a little more speed too. Once again, that's my worst receiver, but he still got across the field for a big play. Now, when it comes to plays like cover 3, this Kittle here is going to be a very big play. As you can see, he just, you know, basically just sprints out, gets you a nice, quick and easy catch and run. Cover 3, cover 4, he'll be able to do that. Against cover 2 man, just put this X route here on a streak, and that will help get the Y route open right over the middle between the two split, you know, deep zones. So we'll go and we'll do that. We'll go to man coverage. Against man coverage, cover 1, I'm just going to put the B route on a streak and streak the X route just to pull coverage. The slant, I'm sorry, this I said streak, but I meant slant. Now you can see this guy here once again. As long as you float the ball, you should have a one-play touchdown. Once again, still going after my worst receiver, but he's still having success. Now we're also going to play stick, so we have a regular cover 4, because this will have success against cover 4 quarters right over the middle with that same route. So you just basically will throw him right through the two middle, two middle safeties in a regular cover 4. Next up, we got the TE corner. This is something that has a lot of man-beating routes. The X route and the B route and the running back are all going to be man-beating routes. And they're all going to do it in a pretty good fashion, a pretty quick fashion, I should say. That there, probably threw it a little bit early. Going against man 0, but like I said, if you just wait till this guy gets outside, he's going to get open instantly. The zig route will get open the second fastest, and then the running back will get open the third fastest. So that's pretty much a read structure. As you can see right here, any man coverage, he's just going to come, you know, they're going to all beat the man coverage assignments that they are expected to beat. Now against zone coverage, I'm going to move the ball over. Against man cover 2, I'm sorry, not man cover 2, Tampa 2, I put the A route on a drag and streak the X route. Now you're going to have a big play to the Y route. As you can see right here, he's just going straight to the open space, and then you're going to have an easy one-play touchdown catch and run there. So that's going to be your best cover 2 zone beater. Next up out of the gun type, we got the Z spot. It's got a lot of good man coverage plays as well, like the X route and the A route. I'll put the B route on a streak. The A route here, basically just, once he gets outside, it's a very good man-beating route. You can shorten that too, and it's even better if you're on like a, if you can smart route it like at 5-yard depth or something like that. It's typically really good. I just know that from gameplay. Can't do it here in practice. Then the X route, like I said, it's a really good play. Although that was still quarters because I forgot to switch it over. But that's a really good man-beating route as well. As you can see, it still worked even against quarters. So let's pick a man coverage this time. The Y route should have success also. The corner route, which, you know, had success against the, you know, this is one of the better man beating routes as well. Though once again, didn't quite get the accuracy. I got a rookie quarterback out there, but you can see that beats man also. A lot of good man beating routes against cover 3 and cover 4. The running back is really the best way to go. As you can see, nothing really covers him in the flats because there's nothing really there. So you really have success against a lot of different things. You also have success against Tampa too. All you gotta do is streak the B route. And it's really, once again, running back and tight end. Although if the running back's there, just take the running back because the tight end does do a great job. So basically any zone coverage, the running back's a good play. And all these other routes are really good man beaters. Next up, we have the dagger. Just gonna put the A route on a streak, put the Y route on a drag. I would say the X route you can put on a streak too, but I'm not gonna bother. We're basically just working these crossers. I mean, they're gonna get open. One of these, either the drag or the deep crosser, is gonna get open against just about any man or zone in the game. I find that the RB route is really good against cover 3. As you can see right here, a lot of times he'll get open under the flats, but he's probably the secondary read on the play. I would say mostly it's just the crossers. So it doesn't really matter what you're looking at, man or zone. The crossers will have a lot of success. Here we have that man coverage. Like I said, that Y route or the deep crosser is going to beat that. And we just basically run this all game. It's a very good bread and butter play. Next up, we got the fade smash. This is a good play against cover 2 man. Just streak the A route. Go ahead and we'll just let these guys set up on defense. But yeah, the Y route here can have a lot of success beating it to the corner. So, you know, that's all you really need to do. So, you know, there's not a lot of other really good routes here. But based off the fact that man cover 2 a lot of times protect against inside releases, that's what makes the Y route such a good play. Now, if you throw it too early, you can get in a little bit of trouble, and I also didn't float it. I want to float that as much as possible, but it still worked out. Against Tampa 2, it's going to go over and motion over EBOOK, streak everybody, and this is going to be a big play against cover 2 as well. Let's do this one more time here. Except that Y route, you know, basically just getting outside against pretty much any cover 2, that's going to be the play. Against cover 3, same setup, motion this guy across, streak everybody. Let's actually put the cover 3 on. And we're going to have a big play against cover 3. If we get that B route right at the seam there. And like I said, worst receiver once again. Actually, no, I think it's Deebo Samuel. So you can see it's still a good play. Could probably get a little bit more separation against that cover 3 if you fade that receiver. Let's do that again. Like I said, now I got him on a fade. So he should get a little bit more space outside the cornerback and outside the receiver. You can see right there, it's a little bit more space. So it doesn't really matter. Fade or streak, still a really good play. Against cover 4, regular cover 4, do the exact same setup. Although realistically, here I'd probably want to like drag or something like that. But yeah, I mean, all the streaks aren't really going to do anything. But the Y route here, once again, gets outside of cover 4. So that route there is going to beat most things. Except we have the inside zone. It's best run play in the formation. If your opponent comes out in 2-spread formation, like something like this, you just basically just take this inside zone and just eat them up. So that's going to be your best bet. There's not a lot of great run plays in this formation, but this one's probably the most consistent. You should be able to get about 5 yards of gain, just as long as you make sure there's a gap in the direction you're going before you start the play. The more spread they are, the better, and the less linebackers right over the line, the better. As you can see right there, we had a linebacker, and he basically stretched me out wide, but I still had a good run. Next up, we have the levels Y sail. It's not a play, I'll go random. The RB route's really going to be best against cover 3 and cover 4, but if you have a speed advantage, I mean, he can even beat man coverage. As you can see right there, it still got out enough into the flat. That was a man, though. But ultimately, the RB route's really best against zone coverage. As you can see, that zone chuck, it really just gets that guy off of his spot to the point where the running back just gets open instantly. Now, the check downs, like the B route and the Y route and all that stuff. I mean, the corner route does a really good job of getting open against most zones, especially if you have a good tight end like I have here. But ultimately, I mean, these are, you know, this is all about the flat and all about the corner route. The crossers will make good check downs, but it's really more about these 2 routes on the right. Except we got the inside zone. Next, this is just the best run play in the formation. You know, it's a consistent 3 to 5 yard run if at worst. I mean, right here, you really want to run this when the defense is really spread. But you can see if you get that second level blocking, I mean, you can really have some explosive runs. So definitely the most important run play in this formation. Next up, we have the shock H option. This play is good against cover 2. All I'm gonna do is put the A route on a streak, put the B route on a smoke. Let's go and let's pick Tampa 2. And the RB route's gonna have a very big play because he just runs outside, away from the safety. The tight end's probably gonna be open too, to be honest with you. Next up, we got the stick. So I'll just put the A route on streak. And once this B route gets past the cornerback, just bullet, pass lead to the sideline. And you have a very big play. The Y route's good against cover 3. And the X route's good against man. Next up out of the tray, we have the PA post shot. It's going to go against random defenses. This play here, all you got to do is put the A route on a streak, put the Y route on a drag. And this is going to be a big play against just about any defense, man or zone. I think I'm in a cover 4 here, but ultimately, yeah. I mean, you're just basically, I don't know why I didn't catch that, but you're basically working the drag and the crosser. That's really all you have to do. I can block the running back as well. He's not really doing too much. But ultimately, these will get open against just about any defense in the game. And typically, the crosser is going to be the one that gets open. So let's go and let's do that one more time. Put the A route on a streak, Y route on a drag. That's really all there is to it. You can motion across. Sometimes I'll motion across the X route and put them on a slant just to give myself another option going in the other direction. But that's not something that you necessarily need to do. It can be a little bit of a tell if you do it too much. But ultimately, that'll give you a second receiving option coming across the other way. But like I said, it's really all about the B route and the Y route. As you see, they're going to get open against most things. That was a cover 3. It was wide open. Next up, we have the RPO alert screen. So, this play here, I mean, if we have a gap, we can treat this like an inside zone. It's going to be very successful. But the screen itself is going to be best against things like cover 3 and cover 4. You gotta hit the X button pretty quick because I hit it and it didn't let me. So let's do that again. Like I said, just pull that out. We've got good blocking out here. There's man on man. We don't have an open defender. We don't have an extra defender at all, and we have a very big play. So cover 3, cover 4, man coverage not so much because typically the man coverage they'll drop down right away. But you can see right here. I mean, this is if you do that, you can still have some success, but it's just not going to be as good as the off coverages like cover 3 and cover 4. Next up, we have the stick. I'm just going to streak the B route. That's all I really have to do. I'll streak the A route too, but ultimately this is just another cover 2 play where I'm just going to throw it to the X route once it gets past the cornerback, and then you can see we can have a really big play, outside the safety. The most important part, run it from the sideline just to get the most catch and run space possible, but the most important part is the bullet and the pass lead away. If you throw it too early, you can see right there, you can give the guy a play because I just didn't time it. You really have to watch when he passes this cornerback. If I go to the replay, which is not going to let me do, but you really have to watch. Let's do it again live. Just watch the quarterback. That's really all there is to it. Once he gets past him enough, like I said right here, he slows down, gets into his back pedal. Like I said, that throw to the sideline too much is what's causing it to be a short throw. But let's do this one more time. Like I said, you can also flat the wire out just for a quicker reaction time to the flats. You can see like the cornerback there will react, and you can see this is just, this is like pitch and catch. Like I said, it's all timing. It's all based off of when you throw the ball, but it's a really big play. Next up, we got the empty vertical. Put the A route on a streak, block the running back, and motion across a uke here. And against cover 2, the Y route is going to get open, and even the B route. I mean, this is such a spread formation. We're going to have success against a lot of different things. But this one here is the easiest. So we can just steal that against cover 2 zone and cover 2 man. It's also a very good cover 2 man play. Put everybody on streaks. Throwing it to my worst receiver here, which is typically not a good thing, but he should still be able to beat him off the line. I would think that, Ayuk or somebody like that would do a better job. But like I said, it's just something where, if you bullet, pass lead outside, you can get that pretty much all game against cover 2 man as well. Against cover 3, pretty much the same setup. Safety moves across. And the B route's going to be the read here because that outside route's going to pull that receiver or pull that cornerback to the side, and we're going to get an easy one-play touchdown up the cover 3 seam. Next up out of the tray, I flex with the PA crossers. The tight end's a good man coverage beater. That's really the only thing that makes this play different than a lot of other plays that I put out, where basically, this is a good man beating route, especially if you have a good tight end. But ultimately, I want to run this against random plays and just put the tight end on a streak, put the wide route on a drag, and these crossers will get open against just about any defense. You just basically watch, I mean, the drag and the deep crosser will both pretty much get open. So you're just basically watching the high-low routes. Man or zone, doesn't really matter. You're just watching the deep crosser and the drag. As you can see here, I mean, I accidentally hit the wrong button, but they were both open. If I go to the replay, you can see that both of the receivers were open. It doesn't really matter the defense. Let's do it again. I like to block the running back too because I don't want that play action to get in the way. Here we go once again. It looks like a couple of quarters, matching principles. It still gets open. It doesn't really matter. These crossers kill all that. Next up, we have the 0-1 trap. Another good play. I mean, 0-1 traps are just, they can be so, you know, they can be a little hit or miss depending on what formations you are running it from. But this particular one is pretty consistent. You can see the pulling blocks. I mean, it just acts like you have multiple, you know, fullbacks. It's best to run something like this when you have a lot of space. Like right here, we definitely have a run blitz. That's not a good time to run that. Next up, we have the inside zone. This is just the best run play in the formation. I mean, there's not really a lot to it. You know, it's something that because of all the tight ends, I mean, you should have a blocking advantage just about every time, especially since there's so many good pass plays in this formation. You can see, I mean, just as long as I have a gap here, I mean, we're just getting some serious man-on-man, you know, blocking. We're having a lot of success. Very hard to stop run, and a very successful run for this scheme. Next up, we have the mesh spot. So I'm just going to motion this guy out. Against cover 2, motion him out, put the B route on a streak. The drags will have some success on their own, but this is a very good play against cover 2, just as long as you don't run to the sideline. My guy had to stop at the sideline there. We'll go ahead and we'll motion the ball back over. This is something that, like I said, it's really basically a cover 2 play for the most part. I do have a pretty fast tight end though, so I might be able to have some success there. But you can see how these zones, they just don't really cover out far enough. And with a speed guy like Mostert, I mean, I could be able to, you know, catch that and be up the sideline. But you can see there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of space. Against cover 3, you can do the same setup. The B route here, I mean, if you have a fast enough tight end, the B route can have a lot of success up the seam, but realistically, there's only a few tight ends in the game that could be a one-play touchdown. This can be a one-play touchdown because you can see with that safety being as far away as he is, and if I just put the Y route here on a streak just to kind of occupy him a little bit, the B route does have an insane amount of space. But like I said, there's only a few tight ends that are probably fast enough to score from anywhere. Guys like Darren Waller, Evan Ingram, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, the RB route is also a pretty good play if you throw it from the backfield. But you can see he turns upfield kind of quick for that to be successful. I think that if anything, he'd probably be best to motion out once again. You can see he just doesn't really get followed, and then you can take this quick throw and just basically chuck it out. And you can see how the DBs don't really react in time, and he gets an easy catch and run. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this particular play. So let's do that again. Like I said, it's really all about that cornerback not reacting. If he doesn't react, I mean, the opponent can probably base the line if they see it, but a lot of people don't know how to do that. They don't see it right away. So if that happens, then obviously you have the two reads. One, which is the you know, this guy here, the tight end, which you can see that definitely the base of the line definitely hurt him, or helped him, I mean, rather, or the running back. So like I said, it's really a catch-22. If they base a line to try to take away that running back, because obviously that's pretty glitchy, then you're going to have the B route anyway, because now the cornerback is much further away. So very explosive play from this formation. Next up, we got the PA double post. So I like to run this play by putting the B route on a drag. I find that's going to be the best way. It's a concept that I use quite a bit. You can see here both routes are open. So I'm basically just watching the two crossers. You can have success with some of the other routes. I just don't really find that you know, the Y route or the X route really get open enough for me to really want to pay attention to that. But I think like right there, if I'd have put that Y route on a streak, he might have got open right up the seam there. So there is opportunities, but I'm pretty much just staring down these crossers every time. Against cover 4, you can put the B route on a drag, put the Y route on a pass block. I typically like to slide my protection to the right, and you can have a very easy one-play touchdown against cover 4. I think rolling out is kind of important, and when you throw the ball is definitely important, but you can see how you do have an opportunity for a one-play touchdown against a play like this. You can also block the A route because that route has a tendency to pull back the safety a little bit, but you can see how, you know, you still have an opportunity to get past that route right there. Definitely is a good check down if you need it, but you can take that away and it makes the play a little bit easier. Next up, we got the PA slide. We're just going to go random. Here, I'm just going to put the A route on a streak. You're going to have a couple of different options here as all these receivers here crossing the field. You're just going to go front to back. I use this concept a lot. It's basically going to go B route, Y route, and then there, I threw that a little bit early, but B route, Y route, and then the deeper route, obviously, which I think is the X route. So we're going to do that again. Like I said, just streak the A route. That's all you got to do. The B route probably best against cover 3. The Y route best against man. I mean, the B route's really a man or a cover 3. Or we got multiple here. As you can see, this guy's good against man too. As we're getting a one-play touchdown against man cover 1, but that's a good man route as well, obviously. So the X route, I mean, that really is like a slant for the most part. So we're going to do this one more time. Like I said, the B route's really a cover 4, cover 3 route. The Y route's more of a man coverage beater, as long as you have a faster tight end. And the X route obviously is a good route against cover 1 and man coverages as well. Next up, we have the sluggo seam. This play here is going to be good against any man cover 1 or any man coverage where there's no deep safety over the top. So man 0, man cover 2, the sluggo seam. I'm sorry, man cover 2 with the curl flat. The sluggo seam is a very glitchy route. As you can see right here, he just ran right past that guy. Like, that guy wasn't even watching. So very easy play this year with the sluggo seam. It's not something that has always worked. Let's watch the replay. I said this year, I mean, this is embarrassing. Like, this guy here, he didn't even, I don't know. It just looked like he sprinted right past him. He's got 10 yards of space. I mean, that's just super easy. Next up, we have the Niners wide corner. This is a cover 4 one-play touchdown. All I'm gonna do is put the A route on a smoke, the A route on a block, the X route on a smoke, and that's pretty much it. This is a very widespread formation, so I don't actually have to roll in the direction of the throw like I typically do, but you do have to throw it on time, which right there I threw a little bit early. Next up, we have the shock H option. Against cover 2, we're just going to streak the A route, block the running back, put the B route here on a smoke, and that's going to be all she wrote. I'm not actually in cover 2 yet, though, so let's go and switch to cover 2. So this play here can have a lot of success. This RB route here, the A route's not really getting covered either. Pretty much all these routes are meant to beat cover 2. As you can see, we have a lot of success there. It's really the optimum defense for this. So like I said, the A route should be open, the RB route should be open. We just have a lot of opportunity, but the RB route is definitely the safest. So I would say that'd be the one that I recommend throwing to because there's just nothing over there. The double outs, though, both of these routes on the outside are both very hit. So let's go ahead and let's pick that. Like I said, I'll start off with man cover 1. It'll have a similar effect against man cover 2. It's just not going to be as good as it against cover 1. But these outside routes here, it's really just a pitch and catch throw. It's all about timing. If you throw it too early, it's a problem. If you throw it too late, it's a problem. But if you throw it once he gets outside of the cornerback's pretty much just give up space. So I'm bullet passing and passing outside every time as well. That's something that you're going to have to do. But ultimately, both of these receivers, I'm moving the ball back to the center here just to show you, both of these receivers run the exact same route and will have the exact same effect. As you can see here, once again, he just gets separation and the cornerback just lags behind. So it's a very easy play. And the other play would be the halfback stretch. We're going to do that again. Like I said, there's no real gaps. This is a really easy read. There's no gaps inside. The best thing that I could do here is definitely going to be the stretch. I have a cover 3, so I have a safety right behind that outside linebacker, so I don't really like it running it strong side here. So I'm typically going to, once again, you can flip it if you're going against something like this where you see you have the safeties in the box and you have the linebacker there. It's going to be best to try to flip it. And you're going to hope that your fullback can get out in front of you and basically make that block. And you can see right there, it works out pretty well. The stretch, in my opinion, it's not necessarily the better of the two plays, but it's still a good counter. This is a perfect look for just a straight stretch because that tight end has outside contain over that defensive end or linebacker. Typically, it's in this particular situation, it's going to be a defensive end, and he's basically going to act as a double team. If he doesn't get off that double team, it might be a little bit of an issue because then the safety and the cornerback there's only one blocker left, the receiver. That's the only thing. I probably would, if Kittle can get off that double block and get down to the second level, get to the safety, it'd be great. But otherwise, my expectation for this play is probably going to be a little bit less than it normally would be. And I probably would have had something. I was just sprinting too much. One of the better passing plays out of this particular formation is definitely the PA tight end leak. Last year, it was one of my favorite plays. I think it was one of my top 5 passing plays towards the end of Madden 21 because of the patches made it really glitchy. It's not really glitchy like that anymore, but let's go and let's pick that. Then we're going to go, we're going to start off with cover 2 like we typically do, then we'll work our way back to cover 3, cover 4, just to show you guys all the setups that you can run. Cover 2 is pretty bad though. I mean, this is something that they're definitely going to have to patch some of these deeper zones. As you're going to see, I'm not going to have to do too much here to have success against cover 2. I mean, you can run it just like this. I find it's best to put the B route there. I mean, you have a lot of crossing routes, so you can run this play like this and just have success in a lot of different ways. I mean, the A route's really going to be the read. You can see he's wide open, but I find that you can have a lot more success and get this guy open more if you just put this B route on a streak. But to be honest, I expect this should work even after they patch this. I would imagine this is going to get patched because you can see this B route here. He almost just runs right past the safety, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's something that the zone coverages are definitely a problem right now. It's something that they owned up to in the beta. But for now, this is pretty unacceptable. If I throw this a little bit earlier, look how this safety just doesn't react and he just lets this be right. I mean, if this was Tyreek Hill or something, he'd be absolutely gone, and we almost have, you know, back-to-back touchdowns. So that's something that if you have a super speedy receiver, you might be able to get away with for now until they patch it. But until then, I mean, the A route's definitely the play. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to just rock it to this wide open tight end because just nobody's really getting covered out here. So, you know, two things to take from this. Number one, don't run cover 2. It's complete trash. And number 2, if you do run cover 2, I mean, there's just, like I said, nothing's really getting covered. I mean, even the fullback's pretty wide open underneath if I wanted to, but this tight end is definitely going to be the play. So against cover 3, we definitely have another good setup here where, you know, this play here can be very explosive against cover 3. Cover 3 is probably one of the best defenses to run right now, even though it still isn't great. But if you motion out this A route and put the B route and the X route on streaks, number one, you'll have a good check down with the fullback, but number 2, this B route here, it's just for whatever reason, like I said, these guys just don't react, and it just splits the cover 3 safety and cornerback, which it really shouldn't be that easy, you know what I mean, to go up the middle. We'll go to the replay just to show you what happened there. Like I said, one of my biggest issues is the reaction time of these. I mean, it looks like they should be able to close on this, but they spread so far apart, and the reaction time is so slow that you can really throw it right up the seam and get a really easy one-play touchdown against cover 3. I mean, that's something that I'll run it again. Let's see, maybe we'll have a little bit. I mean, that was a little tighter than I'm expecting. If they just up the reaction time, they probably can, you know, can fix this pretty quickly. But you know, for now, this is a play that definitely works. So once again, safety, especially, I don't know where that safety's going, does not react to the ball, which is not really necessarily, you know, concerning because in all reality, I mean, they'd have to be like some psychic defender level to really react to the ball. So that's not, you know, maybe they're trying to go for realism this year, and I'm not necessarily mad about it, but like I said, this is a kind of an easy play. And then, like I said, the fullback is open underneath, which is a really good check down. Nothing really gets covered underneath. The underneath zone coverages are pretty terrible. So you can hit that fullback all game if you're not feeling comfortable to throw that ball up. You can run this play, you know, a number of different ways. And you're going to see too, the A route's going to even be open, like the tight end. If you wait long enough, he gets open to the sideline. You could slip that in there. So, you know, I've run it to the sideline as well, which I think is important. But other than that, you can see how easy this play is. So, last but not least, cover 4 quarters. One of my favorite defenses from last year is also, it's really a good one-play touchdown against cover 4. You really only have to make one adjustment. So we're just going to pick any random cover 4 drop. All you really have to do to make this play work is motion this B route across, and now you're going to have a one-play touchdown to the X route. The X route, once he gets inside of this safety, the safety won't be able to keep up, and you just basically are throwing it up for an easy one-play touchdown run and score. The run play that I like the most is definitely the power O. Here I have that, but I also have the better play, which is the defensive end on the left side is spread really far from the defensive tackle. So that is really what I want, because the power O is going to be the better play of the two, in my opinion. So all you really have to do is pick that play, and then flip it with the right stick. Now you can see right here, it looks like it's aiming right at that defensive end, but ultimately that defensive end is going to get blown out of the play by the blocking. You could also, I mean, a lot of times the stretch is not bad to the weak side, but that's typically if that defensive end is inside a little bit. So like I said, flip the play with the right stick. That's all I'm really going to do. And you're going to see how that defensive end, he's going to take himself out of that play. He's going to get washed out of that play, typically by either the tackle or the fullback, or sometimes even the guard. And then that's pretty much how the play is going to run. I'm going to run right between between the defensive end and defensive tackle where there's that huge lane, and you're going to see how this play just sets up perfectly, like right there. Now there I almost over pursue. As you can see, we get a pretty good run there. What, I get like 15 yards before anybody even touched me, and that's basically the point of this play. It's a really good play when it comes to inside runs. Like I said, I treat it like an inside run, even though it looks like the diagram is kind of like an outside run. I don't really treat it that way. I treat it like an inside run right here. You can see how this defensive end gets washed out of the play. It's the fullback who makes the play there. As you can see, he just basically lets him take himself out of the way, and he just carries him out of the play, and then I just basically have a really easy run right behind the pulling guard, who then becomes my lead blocker. He basically becomes, you know, like the fullback would have been. But ultimately, I mean, this is something where, you know, I almost over pursued him. That's what I was saying. You have to wait for that blocker to come around. I got a 97 speed running back. Next up out of the I-form slot close, we have the halfback stretch. Gotta go random on defense. This year, I mean, if it's a man coverage, you want to go to the, I mean, you really can go, this looks like a man coverage, I'm not entirely sure, but if it's a man coverage, typically there's not a cornerback out here, so it's best to just take it to the sides designed. But if it's a zone coverage, it's typically best to go to the receiver side. Next up, we got the fullback dive. Once again, make sure you have a running back at that spot. It's just a good inside run if they're not respecting, you know, if you need a short yards run, fullback dives are always pretty good. It's just best to have somebody, you know, have an actual running back at this spot. But you can see you're just, you know, I'm just blowing through holes. I mean, I'm going against a smaller base defense, so I probably will have more success. But like I said, against short yards runs, this is going to be a successful conversion rate. Next up, we got the halfback power O. We'll go random on defense. This play here, I typically like to just flip it and run to the other side. It kind of acts like a trap play, but like a stretch play and a trap play combined. It's really something where you really need more spacing. Like right here, we don't have a ton of spacing, so I'm going to go back and go the original way, because you really want to run this towards space. That's how you create those lanes, is if there's the more spacing, the better. But I find it's best to run it, flip it with the right stick to the left side, like right here. That's perfect. Like he has, you know, he's outside pretty much, although that linebacker filled pretty well, but you're pretty much always going to have success if you follow that pulling guard. Next up out of the I-form wing, we have the PA boot flow. This is going to be best if you put a fast running back or tight end at the fullback spot. So I would go ahead, I'd put somebody like, I don't even know who the fastest running backs are, but we'll just pick this guy. And then we'll go with the PA boot flow. All I'm really going to do is motion this guy out, just get him a little bit of a head start. If it's a cover 3, that will typically give him enough space that he'll get open in the flat for an easy catch and run. Same thing with cover 4. Cover 4 match, I'm sorry, cover 4 regular. So that's going to be your best bet. But you also have some pretty good crossing routes and checkdowns when it comes to man coverage and stuff like that. As you can see right here, I mean, he probably shouldn't have been able to get past that defense, but you're really just reading those two high-low routes over the middle with the fullback. So I'm really starting with the fullback and working my way back to the A route and then the B route and whatnot. The X route, if it's a man coverage, the X route's really the route. As you can see right there, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I got sacked before I could even turn around. But you could easily turn the running back into just a pass block so that you don't have that problem. But it's always an issue in Madden 22 to run, you know, any pass play under center can be a bit of a problem because you just can't seem to really drop back. But that's something that you can definitely do right there. You can just work your way from the RB route back, maybe pass block the running back. Any man coverage is going to have success. You can see here we're having a lot of success against what I expect to be cover 3. Go ahead and we'll do that. We'll go to cover 3. But it looks like that tight end is having a lot of success right up the seam there. So we're going to do that one more time. Like I said, it looks like he's having success right in front of this guy, which he is. So like I said, you have a lot of cover 3 beaters. Your man beaters are the A route and the X route. Next up, we got the PA Power O. On the right side, we just streak the B route. You can even motion this guy out a little bit, give him a little room to the flat. But basically, if it's a cover 2, cover 3, whatever, you're gonna be basically playing the RB route versus the corner route. It's really that simple. Against cover 3, cover 4, this guy here will get a little more, you know, more catch and run space. But ultimately, if it's like a cover 2 like this, the A route is really going to be the best route for this play. But that's pretty much, you know, against man or zone, that's pretty much going to be your best look. Doesn't really have a man beater, although the X route here, you could always just put on a comeback or put him on a slant or drag or whatever. If it's a man cover cover 2, he's actually the best play if you want to motion him in. It gets an inside release, and he'll typically have success as long as you bullet pass it to the ground before you throw it. You can just basically get that inside release. Against cover 3, we'll go ahead and we'll do one time just to show you that it's pretty much the same setup. Although you don't even have to really motion out this fullback. I mean, he'll have success regardless. And this A route here will have a lot of success also, against cover 3 and cover 4. He's just basically going to catch it in front of the cornerback or safety. Next up, we got the post shot. This play can have success against pretty much any defense as far as the crossers go. The A route, you're basically just starting off with the B route and then working your way back to the A route, which is the tight end there. Whichever one gets open first, you typically want to go with. They're both going to be good against man. They're both going to be good against zone. Here it looks like they're dropping back, so I'll take the short check down and run underneath. Really simple play there. This play can be a one-play touchdown against cover 3 if you motion in the X route. I'm not sure if you have to run it from the hash mark, but I typically do. And all you really have to do is just wait for him to cross. Although here, I'm not really sure what defense that was. That looked like it was more like I'm not really sure. That might have been a quarters coverage. Against cover 3, you can have a one-play touchdown if you run it from the hash mark, motion this receiver in, and basically just wait for him to cross the field. He's going to be an easy look. I mean, he needs some speed, but ultimately, like I said, it's something that is one of the easier one-play touchdowns against cover 3. Against cover 4, there's no setup required at all. I just wait for this X route once again to cross, and then bomb it up over the top. Bullet pass leading away from Diggs, the safety. This free safety, it's really simple. I'll go to the replay just to show how that looks. So we go back here, like I said, this here, all you have to do, wait for him to cross that free safety, and I'm loading up. Bullet pass leading away, just as long as he's past this guy here. Once he's over the top of this safety, there's nothing that safety can do. So if you go back to the quarterback, I'm already loading up the second I see him get inside. Next up, we have the stretch alert X lookie. It's cover 3 or cover 4. It's best to go with the stretch, and if it's a man coverage, it's best to throw to the receiver. That's pretty much the best way I can say it. Any off zone, you're going to hand it off. Any man coverage, you probably want to throw it to the X route. Go. Like I say, right there, we get that inside release. Man cover 2 press is a little bit hard to get off that press with a lower rated receiver, but you can see it's always going to be man coverage. Next up, we have the PA boot slide. It's another play you can run against random defenses. The B route, I mean, especially, that's going to be something that if it's like a cover 2 man, we've gone over quite a bit. That's something that you can just low throw, bullet pass inside. You'll have a lot of success. If you know it's a cover 2 man, I would say it might be best to put the RB route on a streak. But this is definitely not a cover 2 man. This is definitely going to be a man blitz. So the X route here is going to be one of the better plays against man, especially if it's a man blitz because it's pretty quick. But ultimately, the A route's a really good crosser against man. The RB route here is a good crosser against man. You can see right here, it looks like we have a man cover 1, and we have the receiver just streaking across. So, this is a play where it's really a front to back read if it's a man or zone, once again, really between the RB route and the A route. Here it looks like we have cover 3, might have been a cover 3 blitz. We just have success right over the middle. So ultimately, you're kind of reading the RB route and the A route for the most part. The X routes you check down against man, and the B routes your cover 2 man beater. Then you have, like I said, the RB route here. That's really, any cover 3 or cover 4, I'm typically looking for him because there's never typically coverage underneath. Next up, we have the PA cross switch. It's another man coverage play. You have a couple of really good man routes, which is typically the RB route and the B route. You can see there, they're just very good, deep crossing, man beating routes. And they also cross at a pretty good timing, as you can see right there. I mean, Grant's not doing the best job. He's not really much of a receiver. The X route's a good play as well, but that's typically going to be best against cover 2 man, mostly because they are at a press and they can really just get outside of it once they break. So the C route's probably best against the man cover 2. And the other routes, I mean, they're all man beating routes, but some are better than others. As far as if you run to a zone coverage, if you drag the tight end, you can really have success to the running back typically. I mean, whether he's the first read or not, that was still the man coverage. But against zone coverages, dragging the tight end or even dragging the A route, you know, can give you another series of options. So here's something that let's put it in a cover 2. It doesn't really matter, but you can see, I mean, one of these two, the drag or the running back, will be open. The running back's typically be open against cover 3 or cover 4. So let's go something like that. Like I said, this drag will turn into more of a blocker, and then we can get, you know, we can have success to the flats with the running back against those off coverages. Next up out of the single back bunch, we got the quick pitch. This play here, I mean, there's no real adjustments. Against cover 3 or cover 4, you're going to have the most success. Next up, we got the sluggo seam. It's a good play against man coverage. I would just put the B route here on a streak if it's a man cover 1 or a man 0. It doesn't really matter if it's man 0. If it's man 0, you just put him on a drag. But ultimately, the X route here is a very good man cover 1 or man 0 route. It'll even work. I mean, this is something that if your opponent comes out in cover 2 and then puts, you know, just a curl flat cover 2 trick, which, you know, this here would be something like this, where you have them both in curl flats. Let's show that. Like I said, something like that you probably run into quite a bit. This is something where you can have a lot of success against this as well, because it's really, you know, they'll just basically let them run right past, just like the cornerback. The cornerbacks just lose position pretty quick. Very easy one-play touchdown against cover 1, cover 0, and that cover 2 curl flat man coverage. Next up, we got the cross drag. It's another play you can run against just about anything. I typically like to motion this guy across and put him on a slant. Put the A route on a streak. If it's like a cover 2, a lot of times the streak will get open, but ultimately you're just trying to work these crossers. As you can see, there's just so much going on. One of them is going to be open pretty much every time. But yeah, I mean, really, you can just put the A route on a streak. You don't really have to motion anybody out. The B route here, if it's a man coverage, I'm just going to take the closest guy and just work my way back. But that's pretty much the reach for all zone coverages when it comes to this particular play. So I'll go ahead and do that one more time. Like I said, if it's you know, all out blitz, take that drag. You know what I mean? You're just working your way back to the bigger play. If you have time, you can go to the bigger play. But right there, if it's an all out blitz, I'm just going to get rid of it. So first drag, then the Y route's next. Like I said, you can see right here, it's a much bigger play. Still gets open. And then I'm just working my way from front to back. Against zone coverage, if you do it like this, the running back is a pretty good option, but it has to be like a cover 3 or cover 4 for it to make sense. There, it looks like a man coverage. Everything was you know, the shorter routes were covered a little bit better than the deeper routes, but it's a really easy play to run. Next up, we got the TE hook. So these are your plays against cover 1, cover man, or any man coverage, really. So all I really want to do, I mean, I could put the RB route here on a drag just to kind of create a high-low, and he's also a pretty good check down, but realistically, I mean, I like all these routes. This is a really good man-beating route to the outside. You have some really good man-beating routes to the, you know, over, though typically that's where your user might be, so you have to be aware of that. But you can see there's just, you know, there's just man-beating routes. Anytime you have really, yeah, these squiggly line routes, I don't know how else to put them, but they really do a really good job against man coverages, and you can just steal that pretty much all game. And this has a really good series of man plays. So let's go and let's do a cover 2 man, because that's a little different. That there, I mean, I could put this guy on a streak. If I want to, just try to pull that coverage back. But like I say, you can see the results are the same. We're going to have that pretty much all game. I'll say against man cover 2, because a lot of people like to do the these you know, these type of curl flats. Although I messed one up, but these type of curl flats here, you know what I mean? Like if you have that, that's gonna be another reason to have that drag, because you're gonna, you know, it's gonna take away that outside guy. You got to go over the middle. It's gonna force the ball over the middle, but at least you'll have 2 options. Next up, we got the stick. It's just a good cover 2 play. All I have to do is streak the B route, streak the A route, put the X route, just motion him out. That's all I really got to do. This X route here is going to be a really big play to the sideline, just as long as you get it clean. I was under pressure and it still worked out, but it's a very easy cover to one-play touchdown. It's all about the pass lead. You really just have to pass lead outside, bullet pass lead outside. Once this guy, you know, basically gets past the cornerback, and you can have a really big play. Sometimes it's best to float it. I mean, I bullet. Next up, we got the stretch alert bubble. This is a very good cover 3 and 4 play. Well, we'll pick cover 4. Basically, any off coverage, you can take the handoff wide, which is a good play, and then you could also, the bubble's a good play. You know, anything that, the bubble just won't be good against things like man coverages, because they typically play down. Although you can see right there we had some success, so I guess, you know, it really depends on what you're looking at. But that was a cover 2 man. I guess the linebacker just really didn't get out in the coverage. That's the thing about man covers is a lot of times when they're supposed to be covered by linebackers, they're extremely late to the party. There you can see he goes for this. It was the safety. It was a different story. So it really depends on who's in front of the receiver. So if you're looking at this and it's supposed to be a linebacker, he's not going to be able to keep up. But anything else, he should be fine. Next up, we have the wide receiver power fake jet. This play here kind of reminds me of a wildcat play. As even I'm not even sure where the play's going half the time. But you can see as long as you have some speed over here, the blocking sets up pretty darn good. So it's something that you can have success against just about any defense. I would say cover 3, cover 4, maybe even some man coverages might be best. And then you can see, I mean, you know, there is a possibility to get blown up in the backfield. You spend a lot of time in the backfield, which is like one of the downsides, but the blocking sets up really well. And this guy here, this first fake receiver, really turns into a solid lead blocker. Next up, we got the verticals. It's a really good cover 3 play, but you could also run this against just about any play. All you have to do is put the A route on a streak and the B route on a drag, which I didn't really do. Let's do it again. It's the RB route on a streak, my bad, and the B route on a drag. And you really have the same type of crossing route setup that I've been going over in a lot of my different plays. But, you know, that's pretty much something you could run against just about any defense. That was a cover 4 quarters. We could go do that against man cover 2. Let's do it again. If I didn't do that right, there we go. So like I said, I mean, the B route's already open, the A route crosses, but that's something, I'm not suggesting that route will always be there, but either that or the drag will be there. We'll do that against something like a cover 3. Let's do that one more time. Like I said, this is something where everything should clear. The B route's already open. The A route's coming open, although realistically there, that was something I probably should have threw a little bit quicker. But you can see it doesn't really matter. That's something that you can do. It's a pretty easy setup against just about any defense. But if you have a cover 3, this is probably best against cover 3. Because the RB route really just gets open right at the cover 3 seam. It's just the way this covers. So you can motion out the outside receiver to try to create more separation, but it's not something you really have to do. It's something that I just do through habit, and it kind of gives away where you're going. But against cover 3, especially, this RB route is typically going to get open right at the seam. Now against cover 2, you just have to streak the RB route, and the B route will get open above the cornerback here. You definitely want to run that from the open side of the field. As you can see, I run out of space pretty quick. You can get some explosive catch and run type of plays as long as you run it from the open side of the field. So we'll go and do that again. Cover 2, Tampa 2, put this RB route on a streak. Get this B route here over the top, and like I said, you get some really big catch and runs. Safety catches up. We got a superstar out there, but you can definitely get some big plays doing that trick. Next up, we got the Z spot. It's another play that's good against random. You just want to put the B route here on a streak. It's not really a man beating play, but you'll have a lot of success against zone with this flat and the route above it. That looked like a man coverage though, so we're just gonna switch over to some of our zone cover concept. So got the B route here. Like I said, the RB route will be open right away. The A route will be open over the top. Really easy series of plays. We'll have the same effect against cover 3. You look at the same 2 routes. Like I said, this is something that you could run with success over and over against pretty much any zone coverage. Now, as far as your man coverage goes, you're probably going to want to put the X route on either a comeback or a slant or a curl or a drag, an in route, something like that. Any concept that beats man. We'll go ahead and we'll put the cover 3 up again. We're going to motion this guy across. This here has success against cover 3 in a one-play touchdown capacity with the setup like this. As you can see right here, we just basically split the safety and the cornerback. And we're going to have an easy one-play touchdown against cover 3. Next up, we got the bench. Against man coverage, the X route and the B route should have success to the outside. Now, you typically want to low throw it. You'll have more success if you do that. I'm also bullet and pass lead normally to the outside. But basically, when they're in that break, I mean, you can just steal that all game when it comes to man coverage, and pretty much to both sides. So I could do that the other way to Parker, but it's really, it's just these are man beating routes to the outside, basically. All these routes really, I mean, the Y routes, the X route, or the A route, they'll all have success because they're all basically man-being routes. You just have to throw them on timing, basically once they break and once they get outside. Now, as far as other coverages like cover two, if you put the X route or the A route on flats, typically, either they'll get open or the X route will get open in between the cover two zones. So I could also put the Y route on a streak if I'm going against cover two. We'll do that one more time. Like I said, this will have success as well. It's going to be best if I do this. I mean, it'll have success, but I can have even more success if I focus on one side. So I'm going to go ahead on this next play. I'm going to put the Y route on a streak, the A route on a drag, and this is going to be like the best cover two and cover three setup, really. So let's do that one more time. Like I said, this X right here will get extra wide open now. Although if I should run to the open side of the field, I'd probably have some catch and run touchdowns because I am getting a lot of separation. You could basically run this setup against random zones. Against random zone and man, and one of the receivers are always going to get open, as you can see right here. I think we're still in a man coverage, but pretty much, if you put that setup with the drag, it's really an easy read between the. You're never really going to throw to the Y route. It's really just a read between the crossing A and the X route. So let's go, let's pick cover three because I haven't really seen that yet. But ultimately, yeah, this is just going to be, like I said, they're reacting more to the outside routes. You just take the check down, catch, and run. It's really that simple. Next up, we have the halfback stretch. I'll go random on defense. Well, you can really run to either side. I would just say typically you want to take it to whatever side has a little bit of a blocking advantage, but it's going to have success both ways because it's an evenly stacked formation, and it's definitely a bread and butter offensive run. So if you have anything, if you see something like a cover three, you probably just want to run away for the cover three safety, but that's about it. Next up, we have the halfback wham. The halfback wham is a really good inside run where essentially it's almost like a trap block with the tight end. It's something I've never really been a big fan of it, but it's something that I want to put in my ebooks because I know there's a lot of people out there that have been running this for a very long time with success. So I at least wanted to bring it up. But this play is probably going to work best against formations, maybe kind of like this, where you have the DT so far spread apart. Then you can see you can have a lot of success right up the middle because this is, like I said, it's a good run. It's been a good run for a very long time. Next up, we have the halfback zone weak. Keep going random on defense. It's another good run play. You can take it either way just by flipping it with the right stick, but you're just going to look for opportunity. Right here, I don't know if I necessarily have the most opportunity. You want more spacing. Typically, when you run the stretch from this formation, you want a tighter look. When you run a inside run, you want a more spaced look. Now here we have that cover through safety, so I definitely want to run it to the side as is. But you can see, as long as you have spacing inside, you will get a good, it will create good separation for a run lane. Next up, out of the singleback deuce close, we have the PA boot slide. We're going to go with the Tampa 2 to start. All I'm going to do is put the A route on a streak, and that's pretty much all I have to do. The B route here should beat most cover 2s because it's just a cover 2 concept, although I probably should have threw that a little bit sooner. But ultimately, you have a good series of checkdowns along the way as well with the Y route and the X route. But you're going to, the B route's going to get open pretty much every single time. As you can see right here, we can basically take these shorter routes if we guess wrong about the defense. It's also going to have success against things like cover 3 because it's pretty much the same concept. The B route here a lot of times will have success underneath. It's also going to have success against things like cover 3 because it's pretty much the same concept. You'll just have a little bit of a smaller window. You're probably going to want to throw it behind the receiver too by holding the left trigger or the L2 button just to have a low throw. But you can see how it's going to have plenty of separation, plenty of space. Next up, we got the PA deep cross. I'm pretty much just going to put the X route on a streak and then either the A on a drag, or you don't have to put them on a drag at all, but the A route could be a good drag check down, and this is basically just going to do work off the play action. So this is a run heavy formation, so I really didn't get a lot of separation there, but this is a run heavy formation where essentially you just have a lot of really good deep crossers. If it's a zone coverage, the running back's a good read, but the B route here is definitely going to be the best as far as how much it could pick up on a play. But if it's a zone coverage, let's say it's like a zone cover 3, you just basically go from front to back. If the running back's there, which he'll typically be, you just take him. If he's not there, if the user's on or something like that, then you just work your way back to the drag and then your way back to the crosser. And essentially one play will be open no matter what the zone coverage is pretty much every time. Now we'll go Tampa 2, pretty much the same setup. I probably expect the exact same routes to be open, but here I can go some a little bit deeper. You can see we have the same type of, I don't know why I didn't catch it, it was an inaccurate pass, but you can see he was wide open in the zone. So you're basically just going from front to back. You're just going from RB route to A route to B route. Next up we have the PA slide Y screen. Going random. This here is a pretty good play if you have an athletic tight end. Sometimes the blocking, I mean, all screenplays have issues sometimes with blocking, and probably this will work the least against man coverage. Although the B route is a pretty good man beating play on its own, so you do have a backup option. But ultimately, this is something that, it's B route, man, A route, zone. As I keep getting man coverage zone if I accidentally picked a man coverage. So here we have a zone coverage. Like I said, anytime you have a zone coverage, if you have an athletic tight end, he's going to have a pretty good play. This is one of the better screenplays. I wouldn't say run this a ton, but ultimately, you have a good zone play and you have a good man play in the same play. So just as long as the blocking sets up like right there, for whatever reason the tight end was in front of the blockers instead of behind them, as long as you get good blocking, you should have good results. Pretty consistent results with this play. So let's do it again. Like I said, man coverage, just going to take that B route. It's really, that's the play reset right there. Anytime you have a zone, the screen should be there. Anytime you have a man, the A route should be there. So we get a man 0. I probably could have went either way there as they were just setting the house. But you can see, it's a really easy read. Except we got the tight end angle. It's another good man play. The A route's a good man beater, the drag's a good man beater, and the X route's a good man beater, just as long as you low throw it and throw it in the break. Pretty much all these routes should get open with, consistent success. Now, the B route or the A route, if it's a man coverage, man cover 1, as I got sacked there, but you really have to watch that yellow middle zone. But they'll all beat man eventually. Like I said right there, that route's gonna take the tight end away. The drag pretty much takes the middle linebacker away, and then the not really sure what that route's called with the A route's running, but that typically will take over after that. So any man coverage, these routes will have success. You're just gonna have to do some augmentations to the throws if you're gonna throw to the outside receiver, like right there. It didn't necessarily work out, but like I said, low throw in the break. Like I said, you can have a lot of success with that play, and obviously the 2 routes over the middle will beat man as well. Next up, we got the close PA cross. This is a good cover 3 or cover 4 1-play touchdown as is. Just block the running back and make sure that you roll in the direction of the throw. As soon as it gets inside the safeties at the bullet and pass it over the top, and you can see you can get behind pretty much any defense as long as you have enough speed. I'll go to the replay real quick just to show you guys what I'm looking for. Because like I said, there is a glitch. It's been in the game for a very long time that when you roll in the direction of safeties, they typically don't draw back as quick. Now here the safety does draw back, but basically I'm just waiting for this guy. Once he gets inside of this safety like that, I can pretty much throw the ball. So you can see I actually kind of threw that a little bit early, but you can see the second he's beyond the strong safety, the only person that can really make a play on this is the strong safety. So once he gets past that depth, it's also a pretty safe time to throw, because I'm bullet pass leading away from this safety, so there's not really a play that he can make, and I'm just basically throwing it to space. Other than that, this play has a lot of good man and zone beaters. If you go against like a cover 2 zone, or cover 2 man, I'm sorry, you basically have a couple of good routes. The crossing routes are all good routes when it comes to cover 2, or any man really. So the RB route, the B route, all these routes are going to have success when it comes to pretty much any zone. I mean, man or zone. But against man, your tight ends are going to be good. Against zone, you're going to have a lot of success as well. So we'll go cover 3 lock just to show you guys that you can basically just run this like a lot of plays that I'm showing, where you're basically just kind of reading from front to back, and then you can see that one of these guys is going to get up against pretty much any man or zone defense. Next up, we got the drive wide corner. This play here, I'm going to just put the RB route on a streak. The A route is a good play against cover 2, which is what it looks like we have here. Cover 3, cover 4, I don't know why I dropped it, but cover 3, cover 4 should have some success as well, as I'm going against random, so I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. But here it looks like we have a cover 2 again. I mean, it's just a really simple cover 2 concept because the drag will typically keep the cornerback down. I don't think I'm actually in random. I think I accidentally hit cover 2, so we'll switch to cover 3 because it's going to be the exact same setup. Just streak the RB route, and the A route will have success once it gets outside of Bobby Wagner. I guess that's a superstar for you there, because he really hung him up, but it's still the same setup. So this particular play is a really easy setup for just about any defense. We'll go man cover 2 because the RB route can have successes with that as well, but so can the drag and so can the in route. So we'll do that one more time. Like I said there, even against man coverage, Kasicki's still beating it. So any man, any zone, that pretty much is going to be the route. And then you also have the drag, which is going to be a very good check down. Next up, we got the 4 verticals. This is a play that's going to be good against man or zone, but against cover 2, typically this B route here will have a lot of success to the outside. That's going to be your best read against cover 2. You could go to the RB route, but typically it makes more sense just to go to this route. You can also motion him out. The B route here should have some success also, but his job's really just to pull the safety in. You don't even have to make that motion. You can run it as is, and it's going to be a very good play. Against cover 3, all you really have to do is put the B route and the A route on a streak. You can either motion out the tight end or motion out the receiver. It doesn't really matter. But ultimately, the B route is just going to be gone in an instant, just as long as you bullet and pass it outside. Now there, got caught, but ultimately you can see the seams there. Let's go and let's do that one more time. I said I'll motion this guy out. Once again, I've got to remember to put the cover 3 out. It doesn't really matter. Like I say, you can motion out either one. The safety's way further over there now. And then the B route here, once again, glitches out that coverage, glitches out that cornerback. We'll get a very easy one-play touchdown over the top of cover 3. It's be more successful if I move the ball over. I'll go and do that again. So I got to make sure I'm in cover 3. There we go. Say one more time. B route. Just going to slay that. I mean, from the open distance, it's even bigger. But ultimately, you can see how explosive this can be against both. Next up out of the single back wing flex close, we have the halfback stretch. If it's a zone coverage, I would say it's best to flip it and bring across one of these tight ends, because typically you don't get a defender to follow like you do against man coverage. But you can run it as is. You don't necessarily have to, motion anybody. You can just flip the play with the right stick. If it's a man coverage, a lot of times you won't have any defenders out here. So if I go with like a cover 2 man, sometimes you let's see if we can base a line here, but yeah, sometimes you'll have both the cornerbacks will be on that side, and then you can go to the short side. But I still find it's best to run to the receiver side, and I find it's best to typically motion across one of these tight ends to give yourself a blocking advantage. So we'll go and do that again. Like I said, you can see, I mean, there's a hole. I don't really have a good running back with the Dolphins, but you can see the hole there. Next up, we have the halfback zone weak. We'll go and pick a random on defense again. This play here, I mean, if you have a gap right in front of you, it's pretty obvious. I find that this particular play is probably best motioning the tight end across again, which is something that I did with the stretch formation. A lot of times, if it's a zone coverage, no defender will follow. If it's a man coverage, though, sometimes you will get a defender to follow. But it's a really easy run play. It's not necessarily the most explosive, but it's definitely going to have consistent success. So let's go and do that one more time. I said this here, as long as that defender does a follow, which he does, but still, I'm just going to run it. Like I said, it's still going to be a man on man, hat on hat. And you can see it's a pretty consistent run. We get close to 5 yards every time. You can also just run it as is. You don't have to make any motions at all. You can see how you can still have a lot of success. As you can see right there, that was actually my longest carry. So the motion sometimes might be a little bit forced. I find it's best to do this just, if you don't make that motion, a lot of times you won't give away where the play's going to the user. But ultimately, motion or not, this is still a very consistent run play. Next up, we got the jet sweep. This series of plays here really works best against like cover 3s, cover 4s, anything where the cornerbacks play back. As you can see, I'm just basically these are some of the more consistent plays here, jet sweeps. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it's something that, especially from this formation, because the receiver doesn't really have to travel that far, you can really have a lot of consistent success, especially if, like I said, cover 3s and cover 4s are going to be best. This year it looks like it might be like a cover 2 because that cornerback's really playing down, but you can still have success. Like right there, I just took it outside wide. If you have a fast receiver, this is something you can run in this formation pretty much all game. Next up, we have the PA cross country. It's another play that's going to work against just about anything. I'm just going to streak the A route, put the X route, and a drag, and that's pretty much it. I can block my running back too if I want, but ultimately this is a very easy man or zone coverage concept to attack. It's really simple. That was probably a cover 3. The drag's going to pull back any deep zones. This here looks like a man, so I'm going to block my running back, or man blitz rather. So I'm going to block that running back. The X route here is the shortest takedown. I probably should have tried to get rid of that a little bit sooner because of the pressure, but ultimately it's just a really simple read between the you know, the two crossing routes. Once again, the A route there is really just to pull that coverage back. And then if I have a little bit of time, I can definitely get that ball away for a big play. This could definitely be a big catch and run. Let's do this one more time. So we're getting a lot of heat here. I'm gonna take that check down one more time, or at least try. We'll do that one more time. So that running back to the flats is a good play against cover 3, cover 4. You can see there was nothing really over there. So, you know, that's not something you want to forget about. But mostly you just be staring at these crossing routes. Whether it's man or zone, the crossing routes will have success. The Y route, it's still a good play, though. You don't necessarily forget about it. But we're really looking for that big play going across the center. Either the big play or the drag. Let's do this one more time. Like I said, I'm keeping that, you know, that play action just because I think it's helpful, but ultimately you can always take that away and just use the crossing routes. Next up, we got the PA cross switch. This play here, pretty much a man coverage play. I'm just going to streak the A route. I mean, the running back's a decent check down, but you're really just looking for these crossing routes here. These are going to be your man beaters. They're pretty quick, though. I mean, that's something that if you run into a lot of man coverage, maybe even something like man 0, we'll switch to that. This is something that's going to bail you pretty quick. As you can see, these routes are they're really good. I mean, especially if you got a speed advantage like, wow, just getting across the field really quick. So that's something that you can do pretty much all game. Let's go ahead and let's switch over to man cover 2 just to show you how it works. Let's put that A route on a streak one more time. Like I said, that X route here, he's just getting across really fast. The B route here, that's a really good trailing route. So some really good man beaters. Works out really good as well when people are running, you know, these when people use these the curl flat version cover 2s that look like this. So I can just do the exact same thing, put them on a streak. Like I said, this X route, this B route, really good checkdowns. Although I thought that throw wasn't going to hit, but you can see really good series of plays to work against just any man coverage. Next up, we have the smash. There's two different ways to run this play. You can either just put the X route on a streak, which is fine. You don't have to make any motions. You don't have to give anything away. And against cover 2 especially, you're going to see you're going to have a lot of space over here. That'll work against cover 3 as well. It's a good trick. Against cover 3, if you run to the open side of the field from a hash mark, you can put the A route and the X route on a streak. Block the running back, slide your protection. And a lot of times you can get really big play if this cornerback here bites, which you can see right there. He definitely does. Put that X route on a streak, put the A route on a streak, maybe motion this guy out. Although you can motion this guy out here too, put him on a streak. And against cover 3, if we get that cover 3 set up, we can have a lot of success here because of that motion. So let's go ahead and let's do that one more time. Like I said, that X route there is going to fade, you know, basically just create a lot of separation between, you know, the cornerback and the safety. Like I said, you got to make sure you got cover 3 set. We're just streaking everybody. And we're going to have a lot of success. So let's go and let's do that one more time. That's it. I mean, there's a lot of space there. Pressure and all, still got it done. You get it done much cleaner if it's not for the pressure, but ultimately you don't have a ton of checkdowns. So if you do it this way, you know, just be aware that it's a shot play. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of other options here. So I mean, I could put the A route in a drag and try to create a little bit more of a check down, but you can see how you pretty much lose that separation down the field. And if it wasn't for the fact that I have Jalen Waddle, it probably wouldn't have had any success. Next up, we have the halfback inside zone. It's another play from this formation where essentially, you know, it's the best inside run in the formation. There's no real reads needed, except, you know, you just want to make sure that you have a little bit of a gap to the left side. But this play here does a pretty good job of blowing open holes. These inside zone runs are definitely some of the most consistent in Madden 22, and it works really well with the stretch play. So like here, I could easily switch over to the stretch play because there's not necessarily a gap, or I can just run this and try to take it outside. But without a doubt, this is, if you have spacing, if you have gaps, which a lot of defenses have, some defenses have more than others, you can see how you can really have a lot of success and, you know, just get to the next level. Like that guard typically will try to get to that second level. He did a pretty good job there. Let's watch the replay. Early on, it didn't look like this guard was going to peel off. If I can get over here real quick. All right, whatever. But yeah, so you can see he starts off with the double team. These inside zones, they typically start with a double team and then they get to the next level, which is why I ran directly at him before peeling outside, because I wanted to make sure that he sealed that block so that I would have that space. Next up, out of the single back wing pair, we have the halfback stretch. It's another play where if it's overloaded to one side, you can just simply flip it, go the other way, and have a lot of success, because there's typically, this formation forces the overload. It's not the defense itself. As you can see right here, when I motion this guy away from the line, and this is a trick that's been going on for a long time, the entire defense shifts. So it's really up to you. If you want to try to go that side, motioning him out can be helpful, because then you'll get that tight end on that receiver, or I'm sorry, on that cornerback block, which can be helpful. Or in my opinion, it's best to just basically flip it and run it to the other side, based off the fact that this formation forces that overload look. You basically just have nothing to contest. Next up, we have the PAX burst cross. It's another play that's good against random plays. I'm just going to put the B route here on a streak, the A route on a drag, and it's pretty much, I'm reading front to back. If the running back's open here in the flat, I'm going to take that. That's typical of a cover 3 or a cover 4, but I'm really working my way from front to back. I'm really working from the running back to the drag to the A route. The B route is really just there to pull coverage. This is pretty much going to be all that I do here. And you can see, like I said, somebody's always going to be open. Right there, that was probably the most safe route. It took me a little while to decipher, because I thought that the deep route was going to be there, but ultimately something will be here when it comes to all these particular plays. You can see right here, that was probably a man coverage, but I think my controller was on the linebacker. I got to be better about being on the defensive tackle with this remote, just so I don't necessarily run into those problems. Let's do that one more time. I said that one there probably wasn't too indicative of what I was going to be looking at. I said right here, there's 3 levels crossing. One of them will be open every single time. The spacing is pretty impossible for any defense to take away. Next up, we got the stretch wide receiver screen. This is going to be best against cover 3 and cover 4 off coverages. Essentially, these screen plays are just really good anytime they run off coverage, cover 3, cover 4. It's really that simple. You have your stretch play, but you can't flip it. So it's not like the other play. And you have to hold the button to hand off. Actually, I'm not sure you have to hold the button if it just hands off automatically. But typically, it's a good run play to the right side, which is successful maybe against a couple different coverages, compared to the X route, which is really just successful against cover 3 and cover 4. But ultimately, you can this is just a good play to mix in to confuse your opponent. Next up, we have the TE drive. This is going to be best against cover 2 man. All you want to do is put the A route on a streak, or put the RB route. It really doesn't matter. You just need somebody to pull back that safety. So it's really up to you whether you want to get rid of the short route or the deep route. But ultimately, this B route here is going to be a really good play as long as you low throw it and throw it when he breaks back in away from the cornerback. Pretty much all these routes are going to have success against man coverages, including the RB route, which you can see he just gets across quick, the A route. They're all man coverage plays. So I would just say it would probably make the most sense to put the A route on the streak, just to pull that coverage safety back, just so he doesn't have any opportunity to jump in front of this throw, because that's really going to be one of the bigger, most consistent plays. The A route and the RB route will have success against man coverage regardless. So whether it's man cover 1, man cover 2, man 0, it doesn't really matter. Probably want to throw a little bit later there. Bob Wagner did a pretty good job of holding that run play or that pass play down, but he's a special linebacker. Most linebackers aren't going to be able to do that. As you can see right there, we get a lot more success and separation. It's another play that will have success against curl flats. So right here, like we have that curl flat defense. Second he comes back inside, he's going to basically beat that all day. So anybody that wants to do any type of man coverage, no matter what the adjustments, this should have success. Next up, we got the stretch alert smoke. This play here, if you got a blitz like this looks to be, running the ball might not be the best decision, but the X route's really just a cover 3, cover 4 play, because the cornerbacks drop back the second the play starts, so you could really steal some easy yards, maybe like 5-6 yards. You can see right there. There's the cornerbacks playing down real low, so we're gonna have to hand the ball off. But you can see, there's opportunity to both sides of the field. These are, some people, as long as you run these correctly, people can have a lot of trouble stopping them. Cover 3s, cover 4s, anywhere where the cornerbacks are off like this, I can really go either way, just as long as this cornerback doesn't immediately run down. And then you can see we can have a lot of success taking that or taking the stretch, just as long as it's against cover 3 or cover 4 defenses. Next up, we got the halfback ace power. So we're just running this against random. This is something where, I mean, you're basically just going to try to look for, you know, whatever side looks like it has the least amount of people. But you can see it's almost like a stretch, but maybe it's more like a power. But you can really take it outside like a stretch. I mean, you just basically have a pull-in blocker, which sometimes you use them, sometimes you won't. Sometimes it's best just to take it wide. So play, I can go strong side if I like. I mean, obviously right here, but safe that's not the best idea. But ultimately, this is something where there's a couple different options as far as where you want to take it. Like right there, I could easily take it wide, probably would have got a better game. Next up, out the single back wing type, we got the halfback stretch. Let's play here. If it's a cover 3 or cover 4, you can take it, try to take it outside. I find it's best to flip it back towards the receiver. As you know, a lot of these cover 3s do a pretty good job of covering outside right now. But if you flip back towards the inside, I find that you really get the best blocking and you typically get the edge. The outside there, I just don't find with that outside receiver, you're really going to have a lot of success. You can do any number of things to do that, though. You can motion this receiver over, and then you'll have 2 tight ends and a wide receiver, or you can motion the tight end over to the other side. Either way, you can see there's a lot of ways to get a blocking advantage, but I find it's best just to flip it so that you don't give away the direction of the play that you're going. So like I said, right here we have definitely a better look, and you can see here with that cover 3 sides, same cover 3, but we're getting much more space to the left. Next up, we have the jet sweep. This is a play that's going to work best against cover 3s and cover 4s. Any off coverage where the cornerbacks drop back, typically these jet sweeps will have a lot of success because you're getting a tight end on a cornerback a lot of the time. That just makes it really easy, especially if you have a speedy receiver. So this is something where, you know, for whatever reason, you can see the entire line blocks down, and I probably should just take it wide, but I'm thinking if I can get inside of that cornerback, I can have a lot of success. Doesn't really matter though, because like I said, you're getting a tight end on that cornerback. That's one of the benefits of having this type of blocking assignment, and it's doing a pretty good job of forcing me inside. I'd like to go outside. I'd probably get a few more yards, but you can see it's very consistent this year. This is one of the more consistent style of run plays that you can find. As you can see, it's just something that we're just get blown up, and you know, I just have to read that one block, and I'm not even doing that great of a job. But ultimately, you can see it ends up the same just about every single time as far as the results. I mean, I'm never really in a position where there's anything really deterring me. I mean, I just really have a lot of either space to the sideline or an alley right between the tight end and the cornerback. Next up, we got the PA boot flood. We're going to go random on this. This play here, all you really have to do is put the B route on a streak, and the Y route, you can either go with drag and in routes, or you can leave it on the routes in, but I find that this is probably the better way to go. And you're pretty much just playing the A route and the B route. As you can see, you know, this route here is pretty much going to be the route that beats most coverages. Whether it's a man coverage like it was there, or cover 2, cover 3, it really doesn't matter. All these routes are pretty much going to perform the same. The Y route there, I mean, I had to take that because the pressure was coming in a little bit, but I could tell that the other route was going to get open. So it's really just, you know, streaking this route. I typically would say the Y route on the drag makes the most sense, and the A route here is going to get outside of most coverages. As you can see here, that's probably a cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. It's all pretty much going to result the same. Now your man beater, the A route's typically not going to be the man beater unless the linebacker's out of position. Here we got that cover 3. Like I said, just bullet, pass it outside, and we're just having success against pretty much any coverage with this 3 route setup. Next up, we got the PAFL stretch against cover 2, Tampa 2. All I really want to do is put the B route out here on a streak, and that will typically get the A route open over the top of it. So you can have a really successful play there. It also has some success against cover 3 as well. But I'm going to choose cover 3. It's just a good, you know, it's just a good play. Although this formation really revolves a lot around the run plays, you can see how once again you can have a lot of success outside, especially an athletic tight end like Kaseki. It's got a good man-beating route too. So for man cover 0, or you know, when people put the 25-yard curl flats out, which would look something like, you know, cover 2 man like this, and then, you know, the Y routes typically are, instead of deep halves, they're typically in, you know, curl flats, which is something a lot of people do. The X route can really have a lot of success. So I'm just going to give myself a little extra blocking. This is something where, you know, he's basically just going to get a little stutter step and go, and then just as long as I have a little bit of time to pass, you can see he's going to get open. So this is something that you're definitely going to need online. Let's go and let's do that one more time. Also works against man 0 the same. I mean, I'll go ahead and run against man 0 because ultimately we just saw that against man cover 2. You saw that he was open. So we'll go and we'll do that one more time. I'm going to say give myself a little extra blocking, a little stutter step route there. Once he basically gets past him there, I probably threw it a little bit too early. I mean, there's definitely some timing to this as well. We'll go ahead and we'll do the cover 2 man variation one more time. So we got our curl flats, which is, like I said, a lot of people have been doing that for years. Just take away crossers, but it won't matter because this is not a cross play. As you see right there, we just get a lot of separation. It's a very easy one-play touchdown against cover 0, cover 1, or cover 2 with the curl flats. So now we're looking at cover 1 hole. I mean, I'll just, same setup. If it's cover 1, cover 2, or cover 3, I'm just going to streak the B route. Streaking the B route will get the cover 1 safety over enough to give me that one-on-one I want, so I could basically just bomb it up over the top of this cornerback here. Obviously, you probably need a little bit of a speed advantage, which I probably have with Will Fuller. Next up out of the singleback wing type, we have the PA Y drag wheel. So all I'm going to do is put the A route on a streak and the B route on a drag. This will create a lot of crossing patterns that will essentially, the X route or the Y route will typically get open. As you can see right there, just kind of got a little bit of pressure. That's going to be one of the things I would typically say to take away the running back from the play action so that you can essentially, just have a little bit more time, because this is a formation where you don't want your quarterback to turn around because that's just going to make it difficult for him to basically drop back as far as possible, because under center it's hard to basically get a lot of time. So block the running back, drag the B route, put the A route on a streak. If the Y route's open, I could say, taking the Y route's fine because you'll get a really big catch and run out of this, but ultimately you're just basically playing it front to back. By that I mean basically you're just watching the close receiver. Whichever one gets open first is the one that you're going to take. So right here, I mean, the B route's going to typically get open in the flat the other way as well, although he's the only person there, so the coverage of him will be a little bit tighter. You're typically going to have a lot more success going the A route's way, which ultimately makes it to a point where you don't necessarily even need the B route, but it's good to have that check down going in the opposite direction. So here we go one more time. We set the X route. It's just going to be wide open underneath, and it's going to be a pretty big, typically get a pretty big catch and run out of it. Next up out of the singleback wing type, we got the stretch alert looky. This play is going to be best against cover 3 and cover 4 to hand it off and try to take it wide. And if it's a man coverage, you typically just want to throw it to the X route. It's a really good play, especially if it's like a cover, if you're inside the red zone, and a lot of times people come out like man blitzes and stuff like that. You can have success to the slant, especially if they run commit. This is a really good play if you're pounding the rock and your opponent, doesn't have a lot of success stopping the run. They might start run committing. Then you can throw it to the stretch alert looky. Next up, we got the Y stick. It's a good cover 2 play. Just going to put the A route here on a streak. That's pretty much it. The A route's meant to pull the safety inside, and then this receiver out here will have a lot of success if I just bullet and pass lead to the outside, pretty much after it gets past the cornerback. The RB route is really what causes that cornerback to stop and slow down and take the underneath route, because that's his responsibility. But if you throw it too early, you can see how there you can have problems. You also want to make sure that you, instead of running it to the center of the field, you're typically going to run it to the open side of the field, but I'm not going to move the ball right now because this is plenty of space to have success. But you'll have even more success. You'll be able to pass lead more, as you can see right there. Really didn't get a good throw. So this is something that you definitely want to run from a hash mark to the open side of the field to have the most success possible. But you can have success pretty much anywhere on the field, just as long as you have a little bit of a better, more accurate throw. Right there, I accidentally hit the left trigger, so that's why that didn't really work out. So let's do that one more time. The X route would be best against man. And you can see we're just having a consistent big chunk play there, but ultimately that's pretty much going to be your best chance for success. Next up out of the singleback Y off true, we have the 0-1 trap. It's one of the better run plays, the 0-1 trap. I mean, you really just have a good inside run. There's no real reads. I mean, you're basically just looking for spread alignments. Anytime you have spread alignments, especially with the center, like the center right there is just so. If there's nothing over the center, this play is going to be best. Like right here, you don't really have a gap over this center, but you're still having success because it's still a really good series of run plays. I mean, we just get, it just blows up in a lot of holes. So the reason this formation doesn't have a ton of plays in it, but it typically, just because of this run play itself, they don't have a lot of 0-1 traps. This is something where I suggest working into your repertoire because it's a very consistent run play. Next up, we got the sluggo seam. It's another man coverage play. Typically got to be a man cover one, but this X route here will have a lot of success. You know, basically just running right past the cover one man, or you know, cover two if they do the curl flats trick. Against cover zero, when they're on a little bit more of an island, they might be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more safe. But you have a speed advantage. You can see they still can't really keep up with it. So any coverage where there's no over the top safeties. Against cover two, with the curl flat setup, it'll have the same success. Just have to get some blocking. But ultimately, you know, this is something that it's not really going to matter because they're not really reacting. Now that was an under pressure throw, and I lobbed it up. But you can see he was well behind the defense, so I'm not really going to go back and do it again. So, like I said, any man covers where the safety isn't over the top. Next up, we got the counter weak. All you have to do here, you know, counter runs are really best when it's overloaded to the strong side, or when you have a large gap, which that's not, I mean, that's obviously a large gap, but yeah, that's the type of gap you want to work in when you're looking for a counter play, just something like that. Next up, we have the double post. It's a good man cover two play. I would say just streak the A route to try to pull the safety back, and then once the X route turns in, it's typically a easy play, just as long as you, you know, basically bullet and low throw, which is LT or L2. You can have a lot of success with that. But you can see, I mean, they're pretty close, but as long as you throw it to the ground, it shouldn't be an issue. The X route should have the same success. As you can see, he's just basically, you know, it's a high percentage throw against cover two man. Next up, we got the PA deep cross. Against cover two zone, you can motion across this B route here, put the X route in a streak, and you can have a very big play. You can also put the A route in a drag and block the running back if you want. These are all options you can do, but you don't have to. Yeah, we're definitely going to get this guy open over the top. Now, the running back probably would pull that cover two cornerback down a little bit better. So that's typically the setup. I would say, you know, 9 times out of 10, just run it like that without doing the additional change, and the running back will have that effect. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter because, like I said, it's a very big play. Typically, want to run it to the open side of the field too, though, because you will run out of space to the sideline. Against cover three, just put the X route in the drag. I'll block my running back, slide my protection, and the B route is going to have a one-play touchdown, just as long as you can get enough protection. For whatever reason, that just crosses the field and is a very explosive play. Next up, we got the PA scissors. I'm just going to put the X or B route here on a streak. That's pretty much it. The RB route and the A route, one of those two receivers will get open 9 times out of 10 against most zones. There's no real man beaters, so the X route and a comeback, I guess an in route or an out route or drag or zig, those would be one of the better ways to go. But we'll go and do that one more time. Like I said, we're really just looking at the A route and the RB route. Those are pretty much your best options. So I'm running this against random. I'm going to put the B route on a streak. And pretty much the A route or the RB route will be open 9 times out of 10. You just basically have to play them against one another and just watch the routes, which one gets open, the higher or the low route. There's no real man beater, so you can put the X route either on a slant or a drag or something of that nature, just something that typically beats man. So if you get a man coverage, you have an easy check down. But you're pretty much just going high or low when it comes to these receivers, and then Gesicki's a beast, as he has a really big play there. But yeah, pretty much any zone coverage, Gesicki or the running back, Carter, will be open. Next up, we got the wide receiver out. So another good man coverage play, specifically to the X route. He will beat most man coverages just as long as you wait to throw the ball until he gets outside the cornerback. It's typically going to be best against man cover 1 or man 0. But, you know, it's something that you really have to make sure you don't throw the ball too early, too late. It's really a timing throw. You have to throw it when he's basically breaking or when he gets past the cornerback. Against man cover 2, it's not going to work out so much because he gets an outside start. I mean, you still can, but it's still a little bit more dangerous. So ultimately, any man coverage should have success. Next up, we got the wide trail. This play here, I just motion across. Gesicki, put him on a streak. That's it. And then the X route's going to be a very big cover 2 play. We'll do that. So this here is going to just basically fade to the outside. It's going to be a very easy one-play touchdown against any cover 2 zone. Also against any man coverage where there's no safety over the top. So something like this, which is pretty popular online, will have success also. I don't have to streak. I don't have to motion over the tight end though. If somebody's running this particular play, that's just a habit. But the X route here is once again just gone. It's just a route that works really good against man coverage as long as there's no safety over the top. Now you do have some other good options when it comes to man, like the B route will get open, the A route will get open. So you do have some other really good options against man coverage. Next up out of the strong way off, we have the halfback stretch. This here is just, basic stretch play, but it's a really good blocking version. I don't think there's a ton of great plays in this particular formation, but this is one of the better ones as far as getting outside. As you can see, they pull really well. The blocking really gets a good head start, which isn't always typical stretch plays out of formations like this. You can see it almost like they start off really far. They just do a really good job of getting to that outside edge. You can see on this next play here, I'm just having a ton of success getting outside. Next up, we got the PA slide. You're really just working front to back between the RB route and the A route. If it's a man coverage, the A route will get open, but so will the X route, the comeback route. But ultimately, this play here, if it's a cover 3 or a cover 4, a lot of times you can get to the fullback underneath. But it's really just a 2-read play with the X being the man beating check down. If you put the X route on a smart route, he will have a lot of success against man cover 1. Pretty much the B route will also, but this is an easy one-play touchdown if you smart route this receiver. As you can see, he just basically blows right past the cornerback. I would say this play will work against anything that doesn't have a safety over the top. So that includes man cover 2, where the the curl flat cover 2 setup, which a lot of people like to do, where these guys are like this. Do the exact same thing. So you're going to see this route here will get outside of it, and it'll just be gone once she's up the field. It's just a very easy, just lob it up. You don't have to bullet, you know what I'm saying? Just lob it up and run under it with your receiver. Next up, we got the fullback dive. It's just a good short run play. As you can see, for whatever reason, the defensive linemen look like they're on skates. No real adjustments needed, but, it's just a good power run. I'm not going to say that you could run this all game, but if you have a short yardage situation, this is definitely going to be, definitely a good run play to use. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.
Thank you.